He scored 14 times in his first 23 games this season. He now hasn't scored a goal in Chelsea's last 16 games. 25 last season after his £40 million move from Manchester City. Is this just a doubt, just an uncertainty? Is it a bigger problem, or is it nothing really to worry about? Cole Palmer will be back.
Well, where the big concern lies, Resh, is the fact Chelsea are so reliant on him. And we've seen when he's been scoring goals regularly, it's driven them to very close to the top of the league, and everything's been rosy in the garden. When he's gone off and lost that ability to score goals, the team are struggling. Question marks about the manager, question marks about a multitude of things within the team. But listen, he's an outstanding talent. We mustn't lose track of the fact he is still very young, but it will be concerning for him, that is for sure.
Yeah, as I say, 25 goals in all competitions last season, and Chelsea certainly were very reliant on him. When a player that young goes through that sort of a drought, I mean, yeah, everyone calls him Cold Palmer, you know, ice running through his veins, nothing seems to faze him. Do you think this particular period might be phasing him a little bit?
Well, to suggest that professional footballers or professional sports people wouldn't be concerned by that, I think he hit such highs last year, highs that were I don't think any of us saw us coming, did they? You know, we thought, well, it might be a decent move from Manchester City. What a great opportunity for Cole himself to come here and play regular first-team football. But to score the goals he did last year and the start of this year might just be a spike that we never see again in his career.
I mean, Chelsea have dropped from 2nd to 6th in the Premier League since he last scored. It just underlies to you, doesn't it, Stuart, just how important he is.
Well, exactly that. As I say, they need him firing again, and he's got, you know, a few games between now and the end of the season to sort of put that right, hopefully, in his mind. He won't want to go into the summer without actually scoring on this front.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, it's a hugely important game for Chelsea. The atmosphere is starting to build here at Stamford Bridge. As we were saying at one point, it really is interesting to see how this atmosphere could continue in this vein, or it could turn in the opposite direction depending on how this game goes. And if you think back to this particular fixture last season, it was pretty decent for Chelsea, wasn't it? It was a humiliation for Everton, though, 6-0 defeat, which you could possibly say was the culmination, or maybe the nadir, of what's been a winless run of 29 league games here at Stamford Bridge, the most they've lost to a single opponent in their club's league history. November 1994 was the last time, in fact, that they won here. Now, David Moyes doesn't have a great record here either, winless in all 19 Premier League visits to Stamford Bridge as a manager. So on the stats alone, you would say the odds are stacked against the visitors, and certainly in favour of a home win, where Chelsea have had some fortune. But this Chelsea side, they do look at times fragile, at times inconsistent, and as I say, this fan base, we do voice their frustrations, although right now it is all sunny and happy in the Stamford Bridge camp. So a huge game ahead then. It is Chelsea against Everton, live and exclusive on Talksport in the company of Stuart Pearce. But first, our match commentator Joe Shannon.
Thanks, Resh. Good afternoon to you on a bright and sunny early afternoon here in West London. These are the defining weeks of the season, and for that, the Talksport network is the place to be. A pivotal month for Enzo Maresca at Chelsea, with Champions League qualification surely the top priority. 50 games in charge today, and he's facing fan frustration over Chelsea's inconsistency. He won't be on the touchline today, by the way, suspended for leaving the technical area when celebrating the winner at Fulham, so Willy Caballero will deputise, while there is wholesale and I think deserved praise for the way that David Moyes has just seamlessly reintroduced himself to life at Everton, and today they're looking for a first Premier League win on this ground in more than 30 years. Big banner at the Matthew Harding end away to the right hand side, blue and white. It says London's first, London's finest, the pride of London. And here come the two sides out onto the field of play. Everton in there change kit today. The dark grey shirts, yellow shorts and dark grey socks, and Chelsea in the royal blue with white socks, and they'll stand astride the halfway line, and all of the usual pre-match presentations will take place. So while that goes on, I'll give you the team news. Chelsea, Sanchez in goal, Caicedo, Chalobah, Colwill and Cucurella, Enzo Fernandez and Lavia, who plays for the first time since mid-March, Madueke, Palmer, Neto, behind Jackson up front, and of course it's not just Palmer on something of a goal drought. Jackson hasn't scored in 13 games. So Chelsea subs: Jorgensen the goalkeeper, Tosin, Badiashile and Kunku, Sancho, Dewsbury Hall, Reece James, George and Achiampong. For Everton, the two changes from last weekend: Patterson and Beto for Tarkowski and the ineligible Breuer. So Tarkowski's run of 111 straight Premier League starts does come to an end, enforced of course due to injury. Pickford in goal, Patterson, O'Brien, Branthwaite and Mikalenko, Garner and Gay, Harrison, Doucouré and Njai behind Beto up front. And the Everton subs: Virginia and Begovic, the two goalkeepers, Keane, McNeil, Chamiti, Young, Coleman, Alcaraz and Irogbana. Now Stuart, you know David Moyes very well of course. How big a blow is the absence of James Tarkowski though in their hope to try and frustrate Chelsea today?
Yeah, it'll be a big blow. His leadership, his performances this season that we spoke about earlier have been there for all to see. And it's a young central defensive pairing now at the heart of the defence, so maybe Pickford and his experience just behind them is going to be very helpful. But they come here buoyed up. They come here, I think probably 2 months ago, Joe, they were expecting to be coming here on the back foot, looking over their shoulder for relegation. They're nowhere near that anymore, Everton, and they're a tough side and a tough nut to crack.
Yes, they're only a point clear of the relegation zone when David Moyes was appointed in January, but they're now 17 points clear of the bottom three. And the sun shines at Stamford Bridge as Enzo Fernandez stands just to the left of the centre circle. The Everton captain Jordan Pickford comes forward for the toss of the coin and the photos that are taking place. What about Cole Palmer? Stuart, is it the sort of situation where once he gets that elusive goal they should start to flow again pretty quickly?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, the one thing with him, when he was scoring goals, Joe, he was getting a lot of chances as well, and he looked as though he couldn't miss the target every time he had the ball at his feet, you know. So it'll be interesting. The sooner he scores, the better, not just for Chelsea, but for England as well.
So we've got all the ups and downs in the EFL, the race for Europe in the Premier League, both FA Cup semi-finals, and live boxing tonight. Eubank Jr. against Ben at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium from 8 o'clock. It is a massive weekend of wall-to-wall live sport across the network, and it all starts here at Stamford Bridge, live on Talksport. Chelsea fans, and some of them just arriving in front of us. We are high up at the very back of the East Stand, a steep drop to the touchline below, a mild afternoon, and it'll be Everton to get the game off and underway. James Garner standing over the ball from left to right in the first half towards the two-tiered Matthew Harding end, and Chelsea from right to left towards the Shed end, split between home and away supporters. Chelsea royal blue and white socks, Everton in the dark grey and yellow, the change kit today, and the referee blows his whistle and the game begins. Everton go back to Jordan Pickford. A roar goes up from the Chelsea fans. A win would take them up to 4th in the Premier League and back in to those automatic Champions League qualifying spots. Early foul by Beto, high foot on Mark Cucurella in the Chelsea left-back position, and Cucurella and Madueke look to the assistant referee, who was right in front of that incident, and an early word for Beto from the match referee Chris Kavanagh, and an early word is all it will be.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Joe, in your bet you should have had when is the first time that Cucurella's going to throw himself on the floor, you know. I mean, he's hit the deck in the first 6 seconds.
Well, he has been excellent for Chelsea this season, Cucurella, and a potent source of goals in 2025. Early ball down the middle from Caicedo, who's already moved into that midfield position towards Jackson, but too much on it, and it's through to Jordan Pickford. Chelsea effectively play with a back three when they are in possession. And here's Enzo Fernandez, 10 yards inside Everton territory. Little 1-2 with Romeo Lavia. Good to see him back on the pitch after all of his injury struggles. And Chelsea now have it with Chalobah getting it back from Pedro Neto on the halfway line. What a fine finish that was from Pedro Neto in the derby at Fulham, just down the road from here at Stamford Bridge, to bring Chelsea a very important victory in the race for the Champions League last weekend. Everton went toe-to-toe with Manchester City for much of the game at Goodison last Saturday, but eventually were beaten by 2-0. High ball floated towards the Chelsea right and Neto, and it's half-headed away by Mikalenko. Then the touch of Caicedo takes it out of play, and that's an Everton throw in their left-back position on the far side of the field. Nearly 2 minutes in, Chelsea 0, Everton 0.
Yeah, I think a few eyebrows were raised when Caicedo made the starting lineup in preference to Reece James, but if Maresco thinks he's going to spend more of his time in that midfield tucked-in area, then it makes very good sense.
Well, it is something that Chelsea have done before. We've seen Caicedo in that position at right back, shifting into the central midfield area. Jackson holding the play up in the centre circle and rolling it back to the tall centre half, Trevor Chalobah, with the light blue boots on. And now at the heart of the back three for Chelsea is Levi Colwill, just shy of the centre circle. Chalobah is square of him. Chalobah looks up, forward to Jackson, just inside the Everton half. Everton sitting deep and off the ball, as you'd expect in these early stages. David Moyes' team. Enzo Fernandez, the number 8, with a sweeping crossfield ball, half intercepted by Njai. Out comes Pickford, and enough on the header from Njai to get the ball back into the gloves of his goalkeeper on the left-hand edge of the penalty area.
They're going to have a slight problem on that right-hand side of Chelsea's attack. They've got Neto very wide and Cole Palmer just operating inside right, which is drawing the left-back Mikalenko sort of in and out, and Dye's got to get back and defend.
Madueke's won it back high up the pitch off Patterson. He jostles his way into the penalty area, sandwiched in between two of the Everton grey shirts, and Idrissa Gana Gueye will flight the ball forward up towards the halfway line, where there's a tug of the shirt from Colwill on Beto. Colwill thought the reverse was happening. Free kick to Everton right on the halfway line, and David Moyes already out to the edge of his technical area to voice his complaints. Header away by Caicedo after Everton looked to loft the free kick forward, but then a misstep by Neto, and Mikalenko has possession back about 40 yards from goal. Body check by Lavia. That's a foul and an Everton free kick, 0-0.
Yeah, turnover of possession there. Mikalenko just delayed on the ball too long, but drew the foul.
Very big day in the EFL today, including at Kenilworth Road. Luton against Coventry live on Talksport 2. Just download our free app and you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. That's a massive game in the fight against relegation and in the playoff charge for Coventry as well. Goalless everywhere around the grounds around the country, and in Scotland, Dundee United 0, Celtic 0. Celtic only need a point to confirm another league title. Chelsea 0, Everton 0 here live on Talksport. We're in the 5th minute of the game. 2 over the free kick for Everton, who've got plenty of height in the attack, including the two centre-halves who are both forward. Floated in by Jack Harrison to the back post. Madueke missed his header, so Everton can maybe look to recycle possession here with Patterson. Has to nudge it back to the halfway line, and Idrissa Gueye. And now waiting for the pass is Mikalenko, and Gueye's got it back again just inside Chelsea territory, floating the ball high right down the middle. Out comes Sanchez, and he doesn't gather initially in front of Beto. He almost dropped the ball onto the chest of Beto, had to reach around him to grab it back. Unconvincing, not for the first time this season from the Chelsea goalkeeper.
No, he was trying to grapple the ball over the shoulders of Beto, and Beto just stood his ground and managed to regather the second attempt.
There is a nervousness about Chelsea, even despite an impressive recent home record, just one defeat in their last 15 Premier League home matches. Of course, the Conference League semis get underway against Djurgården of Sweden next Thursday, but Chelsea's top priority surely has to be finishing in the top 5. Mikalenko down by the far side, the left, blocked off by the challenge of Chalobah in a one-on-one, and Chelsea's centre-half wins it back with great authority, and he'll roll it back towards Sanchez. Was there a touch off Beto? There was, as the ball drifted out of play, and that's a goal kick to Chelsea away to the right-hand side. The Everton fans in buoyant mood, 3,000 of them away to our left early on in the game here. Everton are such a tough side to break down and beat under David Moyes. Jackson working the inside left channel for Chelsea, works it wide to Cucurella. 6 gone and it's 0-0. Jackson down by the corner flag on the near side of the field. Little strip of shade away to the left-hand side, but most of the pitch is sun-drenched early on here. Chelsea have it with Caicedo back to the centre circle and Chalobah. And now Cole Palmer drifting into a very deep position, not scored in 16 games coming into today. Cucurella with the curly hair all the way back to Sanchez. Cagey start, Stuart, 0-0.
Yeah, it's very cagey at the moment. We've seen Palmer have a few touches of the ball, but they've been very, very deep, and Everton will be delighted with that.
As I say, a victory would take Chelsea above Newcastle and Forest into 4th in the Premier League. But of course, both those teams would have games in hand in the race for the Champions League next season. Cucurella's throw back to Colwill at walking pace midway inside his own half. So it's Willy Caballero, the assistant manager, on the touchline today. The former goalkeeper standing with his arms folded. David Moyes just to his left. There tiny technical areas here at Chelsea. David Moyes just turning back to have a quick word with one of his backroom staff. Chalobah with a high ball downfield for Chelsea, and a towering header away, unchallenged really by Branthwaite, out of play for a throw to Chelsea on the far side of the field. They go back to Chalobah, and you can already see how compact and well structured Everton are off the ball, and actually effectively Everton back 5 when they're out of possession. Garner seems to be dropping in alongside O'Brien and Branthwaite. Colwill square to Chalobah for Chelsea, and the onus is on them to come forward and make things happen in these early stages, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, it certainly is, Joe, and you can't help thinking that, you know, we spoke with Jason before the game, but this first goal in this game is going to be absolutely vital. Chelsea can dictate tempo of the game potentially if it's them. If it's Everton will sit back in and make it very, very difficult for Chelsea.
Well, there's a clever ball over the top towards Pedro Neto, who tried to knock the ball down on the run into the penalty area, but out came Jordan Pickford, all in purple, for a simple take. The Everton goalkeeper, he wouldn't have been far off, I don't think, Stuart, in our teams of the season that we picked before the game here on Talksport for the campaign that he's had once again in the Everton goal.
Very reliant on him early season. This back end of the season, not so much, but certainly early on.
Beto is dispossessed, but it's quickly won back by Harrison for Everton. Tenacious was Madueke, the 2 number 11s going head-to-head in the middle of the park, and Chelsea win it back inside their own territory. QPR 0, Burnley 1 is the latest score in the Championship. So Burnley going top of that division as it stands. Of course, they're already promoted, as are Leeds, who can leapfrog them if they beat playoff chasing Bristol City on Monday night live on Talksport 2. It's Burnley against Leeds, both up and both in a straight race for the title over the final 2 games of the Championship season. Luton 0, Coventry 0, live on Talksport 2 right now. Goalless in the 2 big games early on in League 1, Bristol Rovers and Reading, and Leyton Orient and Wickham. Goalless 2 in League 2, Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0, and Doncaster 0, Bradford 0. Doncaster know that they'll be promoted if they win, and Port Vale could also go up, as could Bradford City today. So there's a lot to get stuck into in League 2. Dundee United 0, Celtic near the latest score. Celtic only need a point to win the title in Scotland. Long ball by Colwill down the middle. Palmer chests it down. He was nearly in. Across came Garner to sweep the ball away for Everton. Remember, Palmer scored 4 in this fixture last season. Still 0-0.
Yeah, that was that position, Joe, that we talked about earlier, drawing Milenkovic. He just edged himself out wide to deal with Neto. And here comes Chelsea with Lavia, early ball down the middle towards Palmer inside the centre circle, nudged away by Branthwaite, well won back by Caicedo with some force. Garner slides in with another important intervention to beat Palmer to it, and Everton have it back now. They can settle the game down. Iliman Ndiaye on the halfway line, trying to wriggle away from Caicedo, who's there to win it back again. Palmer straight down the middle to Jackson, edge of the penalty area here, onto the left foot, blocked off by Patterson. The ball squirms loose out towards the dead ball line, and Neto lets it drift behind for the first corner of the game on the far side, the Chelsea right in the 11th minute. Yeah, Chelsea have had a couple of opportunities there with Jackson and just prior to that Palmer, but haven't been able to wriggle away from their respective defenders and get a finish away.
Stuart Pearce with us for commentary this lunchtime. One or two latecomers just in front of us to the upper tier of the North Stand. The East Stand, corner taken short to Palmer. Now Lavia, 35 yards out, urged to shoot from a long way out. Palmer dinks in the left-footed ball to the back post, headed back across goal by Levi Colwill, and there is Nathan Patterson at the near post to head it behind again, and it's another Chelsea corner, this time on the other side, in front of the Everton fans.
Yeah, Palmer's just got to work hard. When you're in a vein of form like he is at the moment, you've got to work hard, get on the ball as much as you possibly can. So if you're not scoring, you're creating.
Enzo Fernandez will take the corner for Chelsea. Live Premier League football on Talksport 2 from 3, Brighton against West Ham, and of course both FA Cup semi-finals live on Talksport this weekend. We start at 5:15 for Palace against Aston Villa. 5:15 tonight. Enzo Fernandez with the corner into the 6-yard box, headed away by Branthwaite. Unchallenged really there. Caicedo back to goal, and he's going to turn all the way back to the halfway line, and Romeo Lavia, the other FA Cup semi-final, of course, live with us tomorrow at 4:30. That is Nottingham Forest against Manchester City. Enzo Fernandez, lovely chest down and ball infield to Cucurella. Sweeping pass left to right to Neto. Right corner of the penalty area, left-footed cross over the head of Madueke and behind for a goal kick. Neto running onto that pass. That had some of the Chelsea fans on their feet, but in the end it comes to nothing, and it's still goalless.
Yeah, good play by Chelsea there. The press from Everton come chasing a ball and a clearance, and then they played through that pretty well. Cucurella sweeping a pass to the right-hand side, and good numbers in the box for Chelsea, but just slightly overhit, Joe.
It's still Luton 0, Coventry 0 in our live commentary over on Talksport 2, but Coventry are down to 10 men. Jada Silva has been sent off, and so Luton with a great opportunity not only to escape the relegation zone, but perhaps put real daylight between themselves and the bottom three if they were to win today, Matt Bloomfield's side. And of course Coventry need the points in the race for a spot in the Championship playoffs. Coventry 6th at the start of the afternoon, but Middlesbrough are only 3 points behind them. Here goes Madueke for Chelsea, racing to the edge of the penalty area, onto the right foot. Good save by Pickford down low to his left to turn it away. Did Mikalenko prevent the corner? No, he didn't, but a good effort and a good opportunity for Madueke.
Yeah, I've got to say, top quality goalkeeping there by Pickford. Once again, not for the first time this season, but good movement by Jackson, who cleared a path for Madueke, who come inside, unleashed the right foot, and a wonderful save down to his left.
Well tipped away by the goalkeeper. Corner to Chelsea at the shed end. Looking for an early breakthrough. Neto into the near post. It hit Cucurella and bounced away from goal. I don't think there was a glancing touch from Enzo Fernandez trying to flick it on, and now Everton can break with Njai, and that's an overhit pass threaded on the angle towards the left. Too much on it for Idrissa Gueye. He can't get there. Chelsea throw in their right back position. Madueke was allowed to drift infield from the left there, Stuart. That might be a concern for David Moyes.
Yeah, as I say, good movement there. Patterson couldn't deal with Madueke. A little give and go which created the opportunity in the first place.
Of course, the shift in the Everton back four today. O'Brien moving into the central defensive position, having spent the last 14 games starting at right back. And Nathan Patterson gets the nod in that position today, just his 10th appearance of the season. Poor ball out of play by Enzo Fernandez deep inside the Everton half, and that's an Everton throw. The ironic cheers from the away fans. It's Chelsea 0, Everton 0 on Talksport. Quarter of an hour gone with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Bournemouth against Man United, Liverpool against Tottenham live tomorrow. Search Now Sports.
Yeah, I think David Moyes' preference would have been maybe to play Michael Keane, but he's suffering a little bit form-wise. That would have probably been a more natural fit, but he's decided to move O'Brien in one.
You're absolutely right, Stu. I've not played a lot of football under David Moyes. Michael Keane yet to start a Premier League game under the reappointed manager. Chelsea have it now with Chalobah just shy of the centre circle. Walking pace and not even token pressure on Chalobah as he pings a diagonal ball towards Madueke. That was really fizzed up the inside left. Thumbs up from Noni Madueke, but it's gone out of play anyway for a goal kick to Everton. That one save for Jordan Pickford in the first 16 minutes of the game so far. Otherwise, it's had quite a low-key feel to it, but it's a vitally important game for Chelsea, particularly when you look at the fixtures that they've still got to come.
Yeah, you can see in Chelsea's play, they've had a reasonable start, but it's just not been clear-cut at the moment.
Lavia quickly forward to Jackson, early ball in from the right by Palmer, lacked conviction, and it's cleared away easily by Branthwaite at the near post. And one back by Neto, but then Mikalenko steps in to get it back for Everton, Stu.
That last attack probably emphasises the point that I was trying to make. Good opportunity to build up, some good phase and good passing within that, then all of a sudden a stray pass or a pass that's been zipped in so hard to his teammate, you've taken seconds out the attack.
Is it just a classic confidence issue for Cole Palmer at the moment? That's what Enzo Maresca has been suggesting. Nothing tactical or technical, he says. Mikalenko has gone down for Everton here on his knees. Is he going to slowly get to his feet? Being helped by Branthwaite, and the referee's gone across, and Mikalenko, the Ukrainian, is on his feet and moving again. 17 minutes have been played, and it's 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge. Those remaining Premier League fixtures for Chelsea: Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, Manchester United home, and then Nottingham Forest away on the final day of the season.
That's a tough run of games. It's fair to say that Champions League spot for Chelsea is certainly in their hands, or the hands of other teams that might beat them.
And a point not enough to take Chelsea into the top 5 today. Enzo Fernandez over halfway, poor ball towards Jackson, who slipped as well to compound the error. Easy for Jared Branthwaite to intercept. Everton go back now to Pickford, and now Branthwaite, the giant centre-half, just to his left. Branthwaite with a 20-yard ball forward to Njai. Little tap back to Garner, forward towards Beto, who can't hold it up. Chalobah there to outmuscle him. Beto has hardly had a meaningful touch in the first 18 minutes. Palmer now rolling the pass back to Levi Colwill, and Chelsea can build an attack from the halfway line. Angled ball out to the left, and Madueke. It's Chelsea in terms of possession and territory who are the more positive side, as you'd expect. Madueke with that one effort, well turned away by Pickford to his left-hand side. Other than that, no clear-cut chances at goal. Caicedo in a midfield area, works it wide to the right, and Pedro Neto running at Mikalenko, accelerating down the right, drills in the low cross, and Branthwaite facing forward, turns it behind, and Chelsea have got corner number 4 already. Yeah,
Chelsea certainly building up possession and territory. They just need to find a more clinical phase, 2 or 3 passes that are clinical, weighted correctly, to open up this Everton defence, to give them the opportunity of breaking the deadlock.
We'll be back here at Stamford Bridge tomorrow on Talksport 2 for the second leg of the Women's Champions League semi-final. Chelsea 4-1 down on aggregate to Barcelona. Pedro Neto's in, swinging corner, left-footed, high to the back post. Jackson plucks it out of the air, but is then dispossessed by Harrison and trips Harrison in the same instance. And that is a free kick to Everton on the edge of their own penalty area as the Chelsea corner comes to nothing. And Everton showing, I think, Stuart, already just why they are a tough opponent to come up against at any time in the Premier League. It's been a slightly frustrating watch for Chelsea fans, no doubt, so far.
Yeah, it is, but listen, they've had enough of the ball, Joe, and enough of the territory to actually have hurt Everton slightly more than they actually have done.
Yeah.
And they've just been short of an over-it pass, or a player taking somebody on that's not fulfilled his potential.
Picked up more draws than any team in the Premier League this season. Everton 14 coming into today. Arsenal next closest with 13. Branthwaite just 10 yards shy of the halfway line. Angled ball out to the left-hand side. Mikalenko on halfway, forward to Beto. This time he holds it up in front of Chalobah. No Armando Broja today for Everton. He's on loan from Chelsea, so can't play against the club that owns him. Branthwaite steers the ball back infield to Garner, who has dropped into the middle of the 2 centre-halves, James Garner. Now Branthwaite, high ball floated down the right-hand side, and Harrison unable to get it under control under pressure from Cucurella. Chalobah wins it back for Chelsea and quickly forward to Caicedo again in that inverted role. Caicedo tried to flick that over the top towards Pedro Neto. It whacked against the back of the head of Njai. It flies out of play for a Chelsea throw in front of the West Stand on the far side of the field. It's packed as ever at Stamford Bridge. On a nice sunny day, the sun's even brighter now. Cucurella out to the Chelsea left and Madueke. But the atmosphere isn't great at the moment, I have to say. That's something that Chelsea fans have picked up on, the regulars, the season ticket holders. That's been a complaint as the campaign has gone on. Not particularly loud in the early stages, though there's not a great deal for Chelsea fans to latch on to. Lots of possession and territory, as we've said, in the first half of the first half or so, but not doing a great deal with it at the moment.
No, there's an onus on the players as well, Joe, to get the supporters vocal and get them off their seats, and they've got to do that with their performances, taking people on, getting efforts away at goal, and I don't think they've delivered on that at the moment.
QPR 0, Burnley 2 is the latest score in the Championship. Scott Parker's promoted side on this incredible unbeaten run, and they're 2-0 up. Madueke's cross into the near post, cleared away by Jake O'Brien. Josh Cullen and Zian Fleming have got the Burnley goals, by the way, and they are top of that division as Everton win a free kick just shy of the halfway line. Burnley 97 points, Leeds yet to play, of course, this weekend. They'll play on Monday night live on Talksport 2 against Bristol City. A Leeds win in that game would take them back top on goal difference. Branthwaite for Everton, who've been relatively comfortable so far. High, long, diagonal ball down towards the right. Harrison herring after it, but he's prevented the ball from drifting out of play for a goal kick, but that's all he can do. It'll be a throw to Chelsea, right by the corner flag, deep inside their own half of the field.
I don't know why Branthwaite's hit that big diagonal ball. I really don't. It was a great ball. Just slide it down the channel to Mikalenko, who'd got advanced and got on a really good position to receive.
Woking 0, Eastleigh 1 is the latest score in the National League this lunchtime. Header away by Madueke from the left-back position for Chelsea. Nathan Patterson takes up possession for Everton, and the right-back will nudge it all the way back to his goalkeeper Pickford. Almost a leisurely pace to the game at the moment. Everton, who of course are not far away from the last ever game at Goodison Park. Southampton it will be after 133 years at Goodison. The big move coming up next season. It'll be very interesting to see how Everton operate in the transfer market over the summer. Everton subs warming up down below us, and the Everton fans enjoying that. Branthwaite just shy of halfway. Forward to Idrissa Gueye, and now out on the left-hand side. Garner with Mikalenko having pushed further up the field. Garner again on that left-hand touchline. Early ball, little flick by Beto, back to Njai racing onto it, edge of the D. Thought about the shot, works it wide to Patterson with the first-time cross. Beto at the back post, hit it away by Chalobah just before Beto could reach it. And two good, strong, firm challenges from Caicedo. The first to nudge it away from Mikalenko, then sliding in to win the 50-50 with Decore. He looks really fired up, the Chelsea right back today, Moises Caicedo.
Yeah, as I say, good play by him, desperate to get to that ball before an Everton player, and he certainly achieved that, and a good flicked header by Chalobah to help it on and get it out of the danger zone.
Chelsea 0, Everton 0 it remains. Clever footwork from Madueke in a very congested area, surrounded by three Everton players, tripped by Patterson, and the free kick given by the referee Chris Kavanagh. Romeo Lavia, number 45, back to Chalobah in the centre circle. Another injury hit season for Lavia as it's given away by Caicedo. One back by Branthwaite, and now the lively Njai looking to tear forward on the break. Silky footwork to skip away from Neto. Then he thought he was barged over by Caicedo. Throw given to Chelsea by the referee. The Everton fans were maybe more fuming about that decision, or lack of a decision, than Njai. Chelsea could maybe build again from the lip of the centre circle with Cucurella all in that royal blue Chelsea kit. Square pass to Chalobah. Chelsea from right to left in the first half. Jackson's held it up well. He's turned Branthwaite and he was fouled. Hauled down. Free kick to Chelsea in the middle of the Everton half. 25 minutes gone, and Stuart Pearce, it needs a bit of inspiration somewhere, doesn't it, this game, I think?
Yeah, it probably needs a finish, and the most likely at the moment is probably from Chelsea, but other side of that is Moisey will be absolutely delighted with the way his team have started. They look very organised, and apart from one stop from Pickford, that he's not really been tested too much.
Goalless draw at Brentford, the 2-2 draw here against Ipswich, which left a lot of Chelsea fans very frustrated, and then a late comeback victory at Fulham after a poor first half performance. It's not been a consistent Chelsea side over recent weeks. Enzo Fernandez floats in the free kick, high right-footed, punched away by Pickford, only as far as Cucurella, and it's gone wide through a crowd of bodies. Did it take a touch on its way through? Goal kick, says the referee. Cucurella, who has enjoyed his best ever season in terms of scoring goals, 6 in all competitions, and from about 12 yards out, maybe he should have done better.
There's no doubt he should have done. I mean, Pickford from the offset, he's calm, he should be catching it, he's decided to punch it, got no loft at all on the ball, straight down to Cucurella. And to be honest to him, he had an eternity to bring the ball down and get his finish away, and just pulled it.
And his 100th Chelsea appearance in all competitions, Marc Cucurella, and it seemed to go through 3 or 4 sets of legs on its way behind. Still Chelsea 0, Everton 0. And you're listening to Talksport. Chelsea win it back through Lavia, and now Jackson with an early shot, back of the net, edge of the penalty area. His goal drought is over. Nicholas Jackson with his first in a Chelsea shirt since mid-December, and it means a heck of a lot. They race across to celebrate. When he got the ball on the edge of the penalty area, he was so quick and deadly. Drilled it into Pickford's bottom right-hand corner. Chelsea 1, Everton 0. Not only is that massive for Jackson, it's massive for Chelsea in the race for Champions League football.
Well, listen, Chelsea have eventually found a finish, and it was a decent one, but the room he had, Everton have spread to play from the goalkeeper. Pickford slipped one into the centre circle, into Beto, and he showed so much of the ball to Chalobah that he's you're gambling in giving the ball away. Awful centre forward play, and from that moment on, with Everton spread, Jackson had an eternity to get turned and get a finish away, and it was a good finish. Let's give him credit for it.
He just powered it across Pickford into the bottom corner, and Enzo Maresca, who is watching the game today, not from the touchline of course, but from the lower portion of the press box, punches the air with delight. And Chelsea 1, Everton 0. Chelsea up to 4th in the Premier League as it stands, and into those all-important Champions League qualifying places. QPR 0, Burnley 3 is the latest score in the Championship. Burnley racing to the top of the Championship table. And let's get news of one of the big games this lunchtime in League One. Leyton Orient against Wycombe. Here's Sam Ellard.
Yeah, 6th place Leyton Orient 0, 3rd place Wycombe 0. Couple of early chances for the home side. Donnelly whipped in a dangerous cross from the left, and from close range Kelman headed straight at the goalkeeper. Really should have done better. For the visitors, Uda entered the box down the left. Islow's cross was turned over from close range by Kone. A win for Wycombe, and they go back into the automatic places. Big game at the top of League One. Leyton Orient 0, Wycombe 0.
Thanks, Sam. A massive game to come later on in League One between Wrexham and Charlton Athletic. Wrexham could, in theory, be promoted to the Championship today. Bristol Rovers 0, Reading 0. The latest score in the other game in League One. Bristol Rovers looking to move away from the relegation zone. They're deep in relegation trouble, and Reading are playoff chasers in a fight with Leyton Orient for that 6th spot. Free kick to Chelsea, who lead by a goal to 0. Half an hour gone, left of centre midway into the Everton half. Nicholas Jackson has put Chelsea in front. Pedro Neto standing over the free kick here. He's going to deliver it in high, left-footed into the penalty area, and it's too close to Jordan Pickford. Massive game in League Two. Doncaster against Bradford. Dave Rowe.
Doncaster 0, Bradford 0. The home side have come the closest they could go up today with a win. They will go up with a win. They've hit the post through Jordan Gibson, the former Bradford man, fed by Broadbent in midfield. Good shot, hit the post, bounced back off the keeper and was cleared off the line. And also Sterry, a shot deflected wide. Half an hour played, Doncaster 0, Bradford 0.
The other game in League Two, it's still Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0. Wimbledon starting the day 5th in League Two, Port Vale in 2nd. Port Vale could be promoted today if they win, and one of Bradford or Walsall drop points. So there is all sorts happening in the race for promotion in Leagues 1, 2, and of course in the relegation fights in those divisions and in the Championship as well. Celtic heading for Scottish Premiership title glory. How are they getting on away at Dundee United, David Tanner?
And the ball is in the back of the net. It's Dundee United 0, Celtic 1. Perfect timing Jota gets the goal. It's been a sluggish game so far, but Celtic make the breakthrough after half an hour. A corner kick from the right, and Jota got on the end of a Liam Scales header to reverse it past the goalkeeper. Dundee United 0, champions-elect Celtic 1.
Thanks, David. Champions-elect indeed. They only need a point for a fourth successive league title. Do Celtic, and they lead at Dundee United by a goal to nil. Chelsea 1, Everton 0 in the Premier League here. Live on Talksport with Brighton against West Ham on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock. The ball is with O'Brien on the halfway line, and now Branthwaite out to the left-hand side. Everton looking to drift forward here. In possession is Harrison, back in field to Garner, middle of the Chelsea half, all the way back to O'Brien in the centre circle. So let's get news of a big goal in the game at Doncaster. Dave Rowe.
Doncaster 1, Bradford 0. Wild celebrations here as Rob Street puts Doncaster in front for a corner taken by Molyneux left-hand side, headed down by Anderson in the area, and Street with the finish. It's Doncaster 1, Bradford 0.
And so Doncaster are going up as it stands. They know that if they win today, they will be promoted. Doncaster heading up to League One. A long way to go, but it's all going their way. Chelsea 1, Everton 0 it remains. 32 minutes in. Cucurella from the halfway line across to Chalobah, and no threat to the Chelsea goal from an Everton perspective so far, Stuart Pearce.
No, as I say, it's been Chelsea dominating possession and dominating the ball in Everton's half at this moment in time. And they'll be looking to probably secure the second goal so they can relax a little bit and enjoy their football potentially.
Caicedo crossfield ball out to Madueke, who brought it down under pressure from Patterson, whips in the left-footed cross, headed up into the air and away from danger by O'Brien, nodded back in by Cucurella. Branthwaite now jumps only as far as Caicedo with the headed clearance. Lavia stretching, nudges into the path of Enzo Fernandez with a curling shot from the edge of the D. Well blocked. It was cannoned into the head of Branthwaite, who might have to head clear again here. This time it's Garner who nudges away Madueke's cross. Lavia almost outmuscled by Decore. Chelsea shuffle it inside left to Cucurella. Wide is Madueke again. Close to the dead ball line, this time at a one-on-one. He's beaten to it by Patterson, who pokes the ball out of play, and that is a throw to Chelsea as the Chelsea fans start to pick up the noise, leading by a goal to nil.
Yeah, Lavia, it looks as though the ball's a bit of an inconvenience to him, doesn't it, at the moment, struggling to get it under control and find a meaningful pass.
Now Everton, I think, have won a throw of their own in the right back position they have. Chelsea 1-0 up. The latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Chelsea to win at 8-1 odds on, back the draw at 13-2, or back Everton to win at 20-1. That's all thanks to Betfair. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £10 on Football Lackers as Everton come forward with Decore. That's headed away by Chalobah from the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. On Football Lackers or Bet Builders this week, opt-in and previous deposit required. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18+, gambleaware.org. Chelsea have it now with Colwill, and again no danger to the Chelsea goal. Midway inside their own half of the field here.
Yeah, it's a poor pass on that occasion from Decore. The opportunities to get him forward are few and far between for Everton, so they've got to maximise them when they do get that opportunity.
Madueke looking to thread a pass up the inside left channel, but he's not going to be able to find the on-rushing Enzo Fernandez. And now the ball is with Chalobah on the halfway line. Lavia for Chelsea. Lavia making what is just his 14th appearance of the season today. Out on the right, Pedro Neto. A floated ball down to the corner of the box. Jackson, the goal scorer, is after it. Chelsea leading by a goal to nil. Jackson stumbles under the challenge of his opposite number, Big Jake O'Brien. And Neto able to win a throw off Iliman Ndiaye.
Yeah, Jackson there, he was trying to turn quickly, end up sort of breakdancing over the ball, didn't he? You know, in his attempt to get away from Branthwaite.
Well, there have been highlights in terms of this game, few and far between really so far, but it really is all about winning for Chelsea at this stage, and winning they are. Chalobah's early ball up the inside right, overhit. Pickford comes out to claim on the edge of his penalty area. So Luton 0, the 10 men of Coventry 0 in the Championship, live on Talksport 2. QPR 0, Burnley 3. Bristol Rovers 0, Reading 0, Leyton Orient 0, Wycombe 0, and in League 2, Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0, Doncaster 1, Bradford 0, Doncaster heading up as it stands, and in the Scottish Premiership, Dundee United 0, Celtic 1. Celtic will be champions. They're underway in League 2, by the way, in the 1 o'clock kick-off, Harrogate 0 and Notts County 0 in the very early stages, and you're up to date on Talksport for all the goals as they go in on what is going to be a massive afternoon of football, the ups and the downs. 2:30, Game Day Live with Adrian Durham once we're done here at Stamford Bridge. Troy Deeney, Neil Redfern and Mickey Gray also part of our Talksport team, and Brighton West Ham is on Talksport too. There's a throw to Chelsea here, Stuart.
Yeah, part of Everton's build-up on occasion, if they're not building up from the back, sometimes what they do when O'Brien's playing right back is advance him, and then he's a target for the goalkeeper to drop the ball into. They've not got that today because he's playing centre-half, and that's almost one of the ways that Everton build is negated.
Palmer now, inside right for Chelsea, looking to maraud forward, has his run checked by Njai, has to go back to Caicedo now. Palmer again, dink into the penalty area. Madueke with the header under pressure, and from about 12 yards out, a very difficult header running onto it. He was caught by the challenger Patterson, his marker, and the ball went through to Pickford anyway. But the referee has come across, Chris Kavanagh, to stop the game. And is Madueke going to need any treatment? The Chelsea physios with the blue baseball caps on are poised and ready to run on if they need them. Madueke on his feet, and there won't be any further treatment needed. What have you made of Cole Palmer's performance so far, Stu? That was a nice little floated pass up the middle, but again quite peripheral really.
Yeah, as I say, he's not been on the ball in the advanced areas where, you know, he's in shooting distance or real clinical distance to probably deliver an assist at the moment. But listen, the game's early. I think if there's a second goal for Chelsea before half time, it will probably relax the team in some ways.
Here is Gay for Everton, out on the left hand side. Mikalenko rolls the ball infield to Njai, fouled, tackle from behind by Lavia. There'll be a word from the referee. Everton actually take the free kick quickly back to Pagana, with 7 minutes plus added time remaining in the first half here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Everton 0. Chelsea up to 4th in the Premier League table as it stands. Forest and Newcastle have games in hand. Out comes Sanchez, drops a long high ball into the penalty area, but gets the free kick from the referee in the challenge with Mikalenko. They both clattered into each other. Sanchez raced out there, and both have gone down, but the Chelsea goalkeeper seems to have come off worse.
This will be an interesting one. I mean, literally, as soon as this diagonal ball's been played, the goalkeeper Sanchez has set off to get his hands on it, and I'm thinking, what are you getting involved in that for? It's too far out. Leave it with your defenders. He's decided, he's committed to it, and he's got first contact, but him and Mikalenko just collided with each other, and it'd be interesting to see that again. The goalkeepers do get protected heavily, but you've got to ask the question, he's taken Mikalenko out as well.
Yeah, it looked more like, we haven't got the luxury of monitors here in our commentary position to see it again, but it looked more like Sanchez went straight through Mikalenko rather than the other way round.
Well, exactly that. But as I say, we just hope they're both okay, both getting treatment at the moment.
That is the main thing. Yep, both teams have got the physios on. Chelsea 1, Everton 0 on Talksport. We're in the 40th minute with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, making a big move or planning a clear out with vans of all shapes and sizes. You've got a plan, they've got a van. There's a goal in the game involving Celtic at Dundee United. Which way, David Tanner?
39 minutes gone, Dundee United 0, Celtic 2. This time, Nicholas Kuhn gets the goal. Dyson Maida with a cross from the left, and Kuhn was there at the back post to stab the ball home. Dundee United 0, Celtic 2.
And Celtic are cruising to a fourth successive Scottish Premiership title. Only needed a point today at Tannadice. Sanchez is now sitting up, the Chelsea goalkeeper, as is Mikalenko. Sanchez gets to his feet. Not had a lot to do, Rob Sanchez. Of course, earlier on in the season there was that period where Jorgensen seemed to take over, but he's now started the last 7 in the Premier League if you include today. And there's actually a hug and a handshake between Sanchez and Mykolenko. Everything is okay. And Sanchez is applauded by the Chelsea fans in the lower tier of the Matthew Harding away to the right-hand side. That's given both sets of players a chance to come across and take on some instructions, take on a bit of water. And we'll have quite a bit of added time, you would think, at the end of a first half where not a great deal has happened, but Nicholas Jackson has given Chelsea an important lead in a game that, again, when you look at the fixtures that they've got between now and the end of the season, Stuart Pearce, it's a really important one for Chelsea to win.
Yeah, I would say from a fixture point of view, the way Chelsea are playing and the fixtures they've got coming up, they will be the most vulnerable for this qualification for the Champions League, you would suspect.
They have the lead, and Sanchez, the goalkeeper, having got the free kick after that challenge from Mykolenko, has the ball. It's just on the edge of his own penalty area. Blue shirt just fluttering in the wind as he hammers it high downfield up to the midway point of the Everton half, and Branthwaite just towers over Neto to head clear. Nudged square by Doucouré towards Harrison. Cucurella in the way with a block. Enzo Fernandez nearly caught on the edge of the centre circle. It's been won back by Cucurella, and now Lavia can carry the ball forward for Chelsea. Early ball threaded down the middle to Madueke, who darts infield away from Patterson. Well held up by Madueke. And now Caicedo square to Lavia again, and Chelsea have slowed the game down, and that's allowed Everton to get players back behind the ball. You do get the sense that a second Chelsea goal would make it very difficult for Everton to get back into it today. Not prolific scorers, Everton. In fact, only the bottom three have scored fewer goals in the Premier League coming into today than Everton's 34. But they are tough to beat under David Moyes. 1-0 to Chelsea here today, though. Chalobah on the halfway line. Little ball forward to Palmer. 2.5 minutes of normal time here remaining in the first half. The headline so far around the grounds, around the country: Celtic will be crowned Scottish Premiership champions, and Doncaster heading up from League Two, leading Bradford by 1-0. As Chelsea overhit the pass down the middle, aimed at Madueke, who has made a couple of impressive infield runs in the game so far, Stuart, but that's easy for the goalkeeper to gather.
Yeah, as I say, good movement by him. He's got his head on one that needed a finish. That one as well. Good movement with and without the ball, but Lavia nowhere near finding him with his pass.
Beto out jumps Colwell, but his header flicks through to Sanchez. Beto very much a lone striker in the game so far. Dominic Calvert-Lewin not involved today again for Everton. He's not far away from first team training, but not close enough to make the squad. Not played for a long time, Calvert-Lewin. And of course, no Breuer for Everton today either. That enforced. Little glancing touch by Enzo Fernandez, and a sweeping touch infield by Madueke to take Garner out of the game. Then he's prodded it back out wide to Enzo Fernandez on the near side to Chelsea left. 1-0 to Chelsea as we head towards the last minute of normal time at the end of the first half. Quite quiet here at Stamford Bridge, despite Chelsea's lead. Forward by Caicedo down the middle. Jackson controls. It was difficult to control that in front of both O'Brien and Gay. Everton win it back with the left back Mykolenko in possession now. Square to Garner, and now Harrison over the halfway line and into Chelsea territory. Quick ball down the inside left to Doucouré, who nudges it wide. Patterson is on the overlap, taking on Cucurella. Back to Harrison. Can he get the ball into the box towards Beto? He does. High to the far post. Mykolenko peels away to tuck it back across, and Caicedo was there with the interception to clear. Great pace by Pedro Neto to accelerate away from his man, and now he's beyond Gay as well. He's run 40-50 yards. He takes on Branthwaite, and Branthwaite just about does enough to shepherd that back to Pickford. That was a rare bit of exciting attacking quality in the game so far. As we head towards added time at the end of the first half, Chelsea lead 1-0, and Pedro Neto is actually way out of position now. Everton have got 2-on-1 down their left. Mykolenko chips in the cross. Doucouré got a glancing touch on it, but he takes it away from goal. It's miles wide in the end as we go into 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first half on Talksport.
Yeah, Everton's best option there. Diagonal ball, Mykolenko pulling one back, and then after the run from Neto, they surge forward again, and Doucouré just failed to get his head on it. It was just too advanced of him, to be fair.
So 4 minutes of added time, and as well as the wall-to-wall live football across the Talksport network, Talksport and Talksport 2 today. Remember, the first of the FA Cup semi-finals at 5:15. That's followed by Eubank Junior against Ben at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Live boxing for you on Talksport later on. The other FA Cup semi-final tomorrow, Forest against Man City. And both second legs of the Women's Champions League semi-finals will be on Talksport 2. Chelsea against Barcelona and Lyon against Arsenal back-to-back. Tug of the shirt, Jackson on O'Brien right in front of the referee. And a free kick to Everton midway inside their own half. And your old colleague Stuart David Moyes will know that, yes, while they're still 1-0 down, they're still very much in this game, Everton.
Yeah, as I say, he'll be disappointed because the goal come from them spreading, and obviously a poor touch by Beto at the front end of the team. The downside for Dave is you've got a choice of Beto or Beto up front, so there's no real change, is there, if you want to juggle the pack a bit because of injuries.
And he's not getting much change up there at the moment, and they nearly gave it away there, Everton, in a very dangerous area, but O'Brien manages to shuffle it back to Pickford. Nearly 2 minutes through the 4 added at the end of the first half, and it's Chelsea 1, Everton 0. Quite a few empty seats appearing at Stamford Bridge as some of the Chelsea fans head for the concourse areas ahead of half-time. O'Brien back to Garner, and now Branthwaite on the halfway line. Angled ball threaded up the left to Mikalenko, who taps it back to Jack Harrison, chips it over the top. Mikalenko on the run, trying to reach it, but sweeping it into touch is Chalobah for Chelsea. Last 90 seconds or so of added time to go now. No foul by Caicedo on Mikalenko, and the ball goes out of play off the Everton left back, right on that dead ball line for a goal kick to Chelsea.
Yeah, on that left-hand side for Everton, the movement between Mikalenko and Ndiaye is important to draw Caicedo out if they can, because Neto is not always going with his runner. So the trick is, can they move Caicedo out of that position by one of them attracting him and then the other one get into the hole that he vacates?
Woking 1, Eastleigh 1, a latest score in the National League, this lunchtime equaliser for Woking. And half-time scores started to come in around the grounds around the country. Bristol Rovers 0, Reading 0, Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0, Doncaster 1, Bradford 0 in that clash of the two of the top three. So Doncaster are heading up. They, at the moment, have the victory that they need. Iliman Ndiaye for Everton, looking to wriggle away down the middle in the centre circle. He's fouled. Free kick to Everton. They will have about 35 seconds of added time at the end of the first half to take it, as they seek an equaliser here. And they are going to send O'Brien and Branthwaite forward. I guess the trouble is, Stu, that it's dead centre, so there's not a great deal of angle to work with here for James Garner. Is he just going to float it long to Branthwaite? Chelsea have got a high defensive line.
No, what they should be doing is moving this to the right here, and they've got the opportunity, but they've left Branthwaite, O'Brien back, probably their biggest threat in the air, so that tells you something.
Floated forward by Garner, high to the back post. Mikalenko trying to get underneath it, and he commits the foul, shove in the back of Pedro Neto, and that is the half-time whistle. A Chelsea lead by a goal to nil in a game that has not exactly been plentiful in terms of goal-mouth action, but Nicholas Jackson has at least ended his goal-scoring drought. A run of 13 without scoring coming into this game, but no problem with the finish 27 minutes in to drill Chelsea in front after Everton gave the ball away. Noni Madueke has been a lively presence, drifting infield from the left-hand side when it was still 0-0. He forced a good save out of Jordan Pickford. For the most part, Everton have been well organised, but they haven't tested Robert Sanchez at all at the other end. Most importantly for Chelsea and Enzo Maresca, as it stands, they are going fourth in the Premier League. Chelsea 1, Everton 0.
Thank you very much, Joe Shannon. Yes, it is probably you'd say deserved lead for Chelsea. It was a great finish, and we talk about goal droughts. What goal droughts? I mean, that goal alone after 13 games without scoring will go a long way, won't it, for Nicholas Jackson?
Yeah, I think so. As I say, he was very clinical with it. Beto's played a part, losing the ball very, very cheaply in an advanced area. And if you spread to play, you're always vulnerable. And that showed exactly from there. As soon as he lost the ball, Everton central defenders were spread. Jackson had all the room in the world to get turned. I've got to say, he turned quickly, and unleashed a decent shot into the far corner. So good finish by him.
Good finish by him, as you say. I mean, that's probably one of those only mistakes really, because otherwise Everton have been very defensively solid. And Beto, to talk about him, been running rings around Levi Colwill a little bit, hasn't he? He's got the better of him pretty much on every challenge.
Yeah, as I say, he's won the odd header up there, but they've not got numbers up with him consistently enough, but listen,
well, this is the thing, he's kind of feeding off scraps,
exactly
isn't he?
That. They've got no options. So the bottom line is Everton are still in the game, just being a goal down, but if Chelsea can come and get the second goal, you think they dominate the tempo of the game from that moment on. It'll be a comfortable afternoon. Yeah,
could well be if Everton don't do anything more. I mean, we talk about Nicholas Jackson's drought being over. Could be Cole Palmer's turn to end his goal drought in the second half, potentially.
Well, you've got to get near the opposition's goal and you've got to shoot to do that.
Well, there is that small matter.
There's a tick box of things you've got to do. And he's played his part. He's not caught the eye in any way, shape or form.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is, Resh, when you've done extremely well like he has, it alerts the opposition and they give you less space, less time on the ball, and that's probably been symptomatic of why he hasn't scored recently as well.
Absolutely, you're right in that, Stuart Pearce. They've got his number, haven't they? And it feels like everyone's got his number at the moment, but can he do what Nicholas Jackson has just done and end that goal drought? The second half will be intriguing to see whether Everton can find a way back in this. As we say, poor Beto up front, really feeding off scraps there. Let's get an update on what else has been going on across the EFL on a huge weekend. Now on Talksport 2, it's currently Luton 0, Coventry 0. Now the Sky Blues controversially saw Jay Da Silva sent off after just 30 minutes, but of course they need to win today to put some distance between themselves and 7th placed Middlesbrough. Also in the Championship, it's QPR 0, Burnley 3, which means the Clarets move back to the top of the table. Leeds are yet to play. And elsewhere in the EFL, it's half-time in League One at Brisbane Road. And there for Talksport is Sam Ellard. Sam.
Leyton Orient 0, Wickham 0. The best chance of the half fell to the home side. Donnelly from the left-hand side whipped in a dangerous cross, and from close range, Kelman headed straight at the goalkeeper. Really should have scored. For the visitors, their best moment came when Uda did well entering the box down the left-hand side. His low cross was turned over from close range from Kone. Other than those two chances, it's been a little bit of a scrappy game. Wickham, though, the away side, having the better of possession. So as things stand then in League One, Orient still 6th, level on goal difference with 7th place Reading, who are drawing themselves at Bristol Rovers. Wickham staying 3rd. They're now a point behind 2nd place Wrexham, who played 4th place Charlton later on today. Half-time here though, Reshman. Leyton Orient 0, Wickham 0.
Thank you very much, Sam. And also in League One, Bristol Rovers 0, Reading 0, as you see here there, meaning that Orient and Reading are level on points. Okay, in League 2, we're at the break at the Eco Power Stadium. Big one this. Here's Talksport's Dave Rowe.
Yeah, Doncaster 1, Bradford 0, and real drama here. Donny lead, and Bradford are down to 10 men. Aidan Baldwin has got himself sent off. It's absolutely ridiculous in a big game like this. He concedes the free kick just before the whistle. He then continued the debate after we got to half-time. He got a yellow card. His keeper tried to drag him away, but he kept on at the referee, who showed him a red as they left the field. Unbelievable. So Bradford are down to 10. Doncaster lead. They struck the post through Gibson. They then scored from a corner. Anderson with a header back at the far post, and Rob Street with the finish. Bradford did go close to an equaliser when an effort by Patterson was saved by Sharman Lowe, but that moment of absolute madness from Aidan Baldwin leaves the Bantams well up against it. They're down to 10, and Donny are 45 minutes from promotion. Doncaster 1, Bradford 0.
Oh yeah, we could see Doncaster then being promoted to the to League One live on Talksport, and also live on Talksport we could hear the confirmation in the Scottish Premiership of Celtic's sealing 4 in a row, because it's half time at Tannadice. Watching for Talksport is David Tanner.
And at half-time, it's Dundee United 0, Celtic 3. Celtic are just 45 minutes away from a 4th consecutive Premiership title. After a quiet half hour in front of Dundee United's goal, Celtic pushed ahead. Engels' corner from the right was headed goalwards by Scales, and it was Ryan Strain who put into his own net just before Jota got there. Celtic made it 2-0 from what was their first shot on target. They broke it pace, Dyson Maeda from the left, threw over a cross that Nicholas Kuhn made at the back post, his first goal since Munich 2 months ago. And in stoppage time, Kuhn scored his second of the game, his 20th of the season, again from a Maida cross. Game over, title race over, half-time, Dundee United 0, Celtic 3.
Thank you very much, David. Yeah, looking good for Celtic, potentially very good for Doncaster Rovers as well. We'll give you confirmation of all of that across the afternoon here on Talksport. Here at Stamford Bridge, though, your live Premier League commentary game on Talksport. It is currently good news for Chelsea, who are looking to seal that top 5 position in Champions League football next season. It is currently at half-time. Chelsea 1, Everton 0. Second half is up after this.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Making a move or planning a clear out with vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, we've got a van.
A Minecraft movie has arrived in McDonald's Happy Meal. Help your little ones build their own adventure. Explore the overworld and meet exciting new friends. Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 6th of May from 11 a.m. Includes one pre-selected book or toy. While stocks last, fair ordering policy applies. See mcdonalds.co.uk/Happy Meal.
You could skydive out of a plane. Or swim with sharks. You might even skinny dip in icy cold waters. Or you could get that inexpressible high, that guaranteed rush from finding just the thing you wanted, the thing you needed, at a great sale price. Sale ends soon. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
The season is shaping up, and whether they're going for glory or going down, it's all to play for. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out Goals! With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals! And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals! Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in as little as 20 minutes. You've finally found that perfect parking spot and you're ready to start work. But wait, you need a replacement part that's not in your van. Don't sweat it and don't move the van. Get moving on your job and we'll sprint over with exactly what you need before you can say, where's my spirit level? Screwfix Sprint delivers in as little as 20 minutes. Only $4.99 and only on the app. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, the world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair. Play different.
18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games, available with no contract on now. 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
Game day. Big ticket Premier League football you can't afford to miss.
What a wonderful noise!
The biggest and best football on the radio. Game day exclusive on Talksport.
You are listening to Game Day Exclusive live on Talksport. I'm Reshmin Chowdhury. Alongside me here in the gantry at Stamford Bridge, Stuart Pearce and Joe Shannon. And at half-time, your update here from West London. It's Chelsea 1, Everton 0. And with all that in mind, let's get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Game Day on Talksport with Betfair. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £10 on football hackers or bet builders this week. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus gambleware.org.
Sam Rossbottom joins us from Betfair. Sam, looking good for a Chelsea win at the moment. Paul Beto is really isolated up front, not really getting him many opportunities to put Everton in a goal-scoring position, but Chelsea are creating quite a bit.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're very much in the driving seat, although that being said, it is only 1-0. Chelsea backed into as short as 1-8 to see this one out, though, and take a vital 3 points in that race for a top 5 spot. Can Everton turn things around at Stamford Bridge and do something that they haven't done since 1994, and that is win away at Chelsea? They're out to 20-1 to do that, being a goal down. The draw currently 6-1. You mentioned Nicholas Jackson ending his goal drought, no goal in 13 prior to today. Will his goals be like London buses? We've odds boosted him to score 2 or more. That's now 3-1. And Beto, like you said, he's being busy, isn't he, for Everton, but not quite creating any clear-cut chances in that first half. But they may pile on the pressure, Everton, if it does stay at just 1 goal for Chelsea. Beto 9-2 to score in the second half. We've obviously got our charity bet builder as well, haven't we? Raising money for the Bobby Moore Fund. We've got Chelsea to win, which is looking good so far. We've also backed Palmer to score any time, so we could do with him ending his goal drought, and both teams to score. So we've got quite a bit still to do in that second half, but we did back it pre-match around 16-5, so our £50 charity stake will return £210 if Palmer gets on the score sheet. So do Everton, and Chelsea win the match, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, still a little bit of a way to go, but definitely not impossible, so we hope so. Fingers crossed. Sam Rossbottom, thank you very much. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, do see betfair.com. Over 18s only, conditions apply. Go to begamblerware.org.
Game Day on Talksport with Betfair. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £10 on football hackers or bet builders this week. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus gambleware.org.
Now, following us at 2:30, Adrian Durham is, of course, taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in the Premier League and EFL. Here's at Wembley Stadium, though, for the FA Cup semi-final between Crystal Palace and Aston Villa. So looking forward to this, the first of 2 FA Cup semi-finals live across the Talksport network. This one's intriguing, Adrian, because I really love the way Crystal Palace have been playing this season. Once they got over the initial hump, yes, they've had a couple of bad results. They did draw midweek against Arsenal, and Aston Villa very consistent as well. How do you see this one going, and how excited are you about it?
Very excited about it. Obviously, we've got all the goals as they go in before that, live from an empty Wembley. But this happens every season at this time. I'm at Wembley for the semi-final, but giving you the goals as they go in. Teams will get promoted, relegated, playoffs sorted, etc. And then 5:15, that semi-final, Palace Aston Villa, as you say. What I find really interesting with this one is that Palace have the measure of Aston Villa this season. They've played them 3 times, once in the Cup, twice in the league. They've beaten them twice, drawn with them once. And they're putting some good performances against Aston Villa. So maybe it's the way Glasner's team set up, that 3-4-2-1 that Villa can't cope with. And if those Palace players play as well as they can, the likes of Mark Gay at the back, Eberici Eze, Adam Wharton in midfield as well, Mateta, we know what he can do up front. I think the Palace will fancy their chances today. Look at the table and it's Villa's all day long, but Palace have the edge on the head-to-head. Yeah,
they really do, don't they, this season as well. Really exciting game, as you say. You'll be bringing all the scores as they go in across the EFL as well. Adrian, great to talk to you as always. Even though it's brief, it had to be brief because the players are out on the pitch here at Stamford Bridge. Second half's about to kick off, so I'm going to hand you back to Stuart Pearce, but first Joe Shannon.
And there has been an Everton change at half-time. Carlos Alcaraz has replaced Iliman and Jai, so that should be like for like. Chelsea lead by 1-0, and Chelsea moving up into 4th in the race for the Champions League places as they get the game back underway. Cole Palmer goes back to Rob Sanchez. Chelsea playing from left to right. in the second half towards the Matthew Harding end, and Everton in their change kits, dark grey shirts, yellow shorts and dark grey socks from right to left. Chelsea all in royal blue with white socks, and they will close the gap on Manchester City in third to just a single point as it stands. Of course, they'd move above Nottingham Forest and Newcastle, but both those teams would have games in hand. The ball is back with Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, Caicedo, Chalobah, Colwill and Cucurella in front of him, Enzo Fernandez and Lavia, with Madueke, Palmer on the ball now on the halfway line, and Pedro Neto in support of the goal scorer Jackson up front. Lots of Chelsea fans still returning to their seats on a nice sunny day. Everton with Pickford in goal, Patterson, O'Brien, Branthwaite and Mikalenko, Garner and Gay, Harrison, Doucouré and Alcaraz now in support of Beto up front. Neto goes on the inside of Mikalenko, nutmegs in, plays in a good cross. It's come off Branthwaite and gone behind for a Chelsea corner. They are 1-0 up, heading fourth, and here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, good opportunity there. Neto creating it on this right-hand side, but just forced a corner. Alcaraz coming on for Ndaya. I'm not sure, maybe there was an injury there, Joe, or whatever. And there's a suggestion, by the way, in the first half that the clash between Sanchez and Mikalenko may have been more than just a free kick to the Chelsea goalkeeper.
Well, that it should have been a penalty for Everton.
That was a suggestion, that someone who'd seen it. We didn't have the luxury of the replay.
Forward by Palmer for Chelsea. The corner having initially come to nothing. It's headed back across goal by Colwill towards the corner of the box, nodded away by Garner. Chelsea have got possession back anyway with Colwill infield to Madueke. Good sharp pass and excellent close control. Left-footed delivery over, hit to the back post. Neto will sprint to try and keep it in down the right, and he can't do so. Get some applause from the Chelsea fans, but it is a throw to Everton. QPR 0, Burnley 3 in the Championship it remains. And of course, in our live game over on Talksport 2, it is Luton 0, Coventry 0. That is huge in the relegation battle and the race for the playoffs. It would mean that Coventry would move further point clear of the chasing pack in 6th place. There'd be 4 clear of Middlesbrough and Millwall, and Luton would move out of the drop zone, albeit by a point, with all of the sides around them still to play. Harrogate 0, Notts County 1. The latest score in League 2. That was the 1 o'clock kickoff in that division. That goal's just gone in. Corner then to Chelsea. Pedro Neto, he's looked lively over the last couple of weeks, will take it.
Yeah, he's certainly done well today. Good energy, good drive, happy to take people on with and without the ball.
He'll be left-footed and in swinging. The second Chelsea goal you feel would as good as wrap the game up. Here it comes, left-footed into the near post, and Madueke spun away from the defender and got the shot in somehow, and Pickford turns it away with his legs at the near post. That was fairly weak really from Mikalenko, allowed Madueke to turn on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Pickford had to be alert.
Yeah, it was a really poor cornering. He almost scuffed it. It didn't get above knee height, and Mikalenko enabled Madueke to get across the front of him and get first contact.
Corner at the Matthew Harding end, drilled towards the edge of the box. Another poor delivery headed away by Idrissa Gueye, this time for Everton, and now Alcaraz can lead the counter-attacking charge, and racing down the middle with possession is Beto. Nicholas Jackson tracking back for Chelsea, making an important challenge, and then in goes Enzo Fernandez, half blocked by Gueye. In the end it's fallen for Caicedo, who can send it back to Sanchez, but with numerous Chelsea players out of position, it was their goal scorer Jackson who was there to make the important halting challenge, and he's lost the ball, and Everton have it on halfway again with the substitute Alcaraz. Out to the right hand side now, and Jack Harrison all left foot as he takes on Cucurella, right edge of the penalty area, crosses blocked, cleared away by Lavia. Chelsea 1, Everton 0 on Talksport, 4.5 minutes into the second half. Early ball in by Idrissa Gueye is going to loop behind for a Chelsea goal kick, and that's come to nothing.
Yeah, the intricacies and the real quality on the ball has been lacking a little bit in here, probably more so from Everton than certainly Chelsea, but both teams have been critical of not being clear cut with anything they're trying to achieve, and that's probably why the game's still at 1-0.
And Chelsea into fourth with 4 games to go in the Premier League, though Newcastle and Forest would have a game in hand on them. Manchester City in third, and Aston Villa, of course, 7th in the Premier League table as it stands on 57 points. The team who are maybe the outsiders in the race, especially if Chelsea do win today. Here is Garner for Everton, midway inside the Chelsea half. Everton, of course, safe from relegation. Mikalenko's early floated cross is cleared away by Mark Cucurella. Drops down to Madueke, who was caught by Patterson. That'll be a free kick. All the goals as they go in from 2:30 with Adrian Durham and the team. Game day live comes from Wembley Stadium ahead of the first of the FA Cup semi-finals at 5:15. Palace against Villa, and Talksport 2 will have commentary of Brighton against West Ham from 3. Still Luton 0, Coventry 0. The 10 men of Coventry 0 over on Talksport 2 right now. Chelsea have got it with Palmer, who's in a very deep lying position, been quite quiet today. Harrogate 1, Notts County 1, equaliser for Harrogate in League 2. They are safe from relegation, Notts County in the playoff positions. And Celtic are romping to yet another league title, David Tanner.
And 2 minutes gone in the second half. It's Dundee United 0, Celtic 4. Adam Ida with the goal this time. His 17th of the season, a header from 6 yards out. Dundee United 0, Celtic on the day they become champions 4.
So it's another league title to be confirmed for Celtic and for Brendan Rodgers. Chelsea have got a man down here on the near side of the field. It's Jackson who's gone to ground. He gets up to his feet, and Chelsea is still waiting to take a throw right in front of the technical area where David Moyes is standing.
Yeah, Jackson, the referee's just run out of patience with Jackson. He's thrown himself to the ground cheaply on a couple of occasions, and when he was potentially fouled last time out and give him a bit of slack there, the referee said, no, I've had enough of this.
Caicedo still waits to take the throw just shy of the halfway line, and still there's a delay. Jackson having words with the referee, and neither impressed with each other. Branthwaite's gone down in front of the assistant, and now he's going to have a word with Chris Kavanagh, and he's going to tell them both no more. Final warning, I think.
Yeah, it's like two petulant school children, isn't it, you know? You know, somewhere down the line the players have got to help the referee a little bit more, Joe, surely.
Still Bristol Rovers 0, Reading 0, Leyton Orient 0, Wickham 0 in League 1. Doncaster heading up from League 2. They lead Bradford by a goal to 0. The 10 men of Bradford. That means a Port Vale goal at Wimbledon would take Vale up as it stands as well. They need to win. Oh, and then the ball is loose, and Jackson was nearly clear. It was a poor back pass by O'Brien. Jackson nearly clear. Pickford was out to make it less of a save, more of an interception on the edge of his own penalty area. Otherwise, Jackson might have been in to make it 2-0 to Chelsea. Everton coming forward on the counter with Alcaraz. Inside right. Harrison on his outside. Alcaraz with a shot that loops into the air. Flapped at by Sanchez. Unconvincing, but he managed to tip the ball away, the goalkeeper. And Pedro Neto will play it back to Caicedo. And Chelsea will clear, still leading 1-0.
Yeah, I think it ended up being Patterson who played the final pass back to his goalie that was woefully short. And, Pickford just, with an emphasis on the word just, managed to recover the situation.
Came totally out of nothing. Loose ball back to the goalkeeper, who had to improvise but did enough. We are nearly 9 minutes into the second half. Chelsea 1, Everton 0 on Talksport. Enzo Fernandez, angle pass to the left, and Noni Madueke taking on the retreating Patterson. Couple of step overs. Madueke goes on the outside to the dead ball line, cross to the back post, and a header over the top facing his own goal from Mikalenko. Not an easy header, Stu.
No, it was good defending, good positional play, just dealing with it and putting it behind. But once again, Patterson being shown that he's struggling a little bit in that right back position, and I think he's had a poor game today, I really do.
Chelsea 1, Everton 0 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whether you're on holiday or at home this summer, Enterprise has all the locations all over Europe and a vehicle that's just right for you. Pedro Neto will take this corner for Chelsea. In swinging dink into the near post, and it just missed Jackson at the far after the initial touch from Chalobah. Inside the 6-yard box, glancing header on it. He's ended up on the ground in that challenge with Jared Branthwaite, and now he's helped to his feet. But it should be 2-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah, he should have done. I don't think we're giving Branthwaite enough credit. I think it might have been him who got the touch. Judging by the Chelsea reaction of the players, they think it was him and not Chalobah that got the final touch. Either way, it's a goal kick to Everton.
Chelsea, who haven't played in the Champions League since the 22-23 season. The message, of course, is that finishing in the Champions League places is the minimum aim for a club like Chelsea, up into fourth for the moment on goal difference above Nottingham Forest, and they'd be a point ahead of Newcastle, 3 clear of Aston Villa and 1 behind Manchester City. Chelsea have got a free kick now. There is some jeopardy in the game, though, with the score still only 1-0, and we're nowhere near the hour mark as yet. The Chelsea subs, by the way: Jorgensen, the goalkeeper, Tosin, Badiashile and Kunku, Sancho, Dewsbury Hall, James, George and Achampong. And the rest of the Everton subs: Virginia and Begovic, the goalkeepers. Our break-off as Chelsea come forward with Neto setting up Palmer on the underlap. Palmer all left foot in the right wing position, and he's blocked off by Garner. That is an Everton throw. The rest of the Everton subs: Keane, McNeil, Chamiti, Young, Coleman and Irobanau. And lots of subs from both sides, actually, warming up on the near side touchline as we speak.
I think both sides won't be particularly happy with what they're seeing, to be quite honest with you. You know, Chelsea got the goal advantage, but it wouldn't surprise you if both teams reach for the substitutes cards shortly.
Heading for that time, aren't we, Stu? The hour mark where such things normally happen. And Chalobah's knocked the ball out of play. There's a bit of a nervousness around the ground, isn't there? It's not a particularly lively atmosphere, and a great sense that the Chelsea fans know the importance of this game just as much as the players do.
Well, if you look at the league table now, where Chelsea are poised, take 3 points off, or 2 points off, let's say, from their tally at the moment, with the fixtures that are coming up, and you wouldn't fancy them at all. I think they have to win today to have any chance of a Champions League place.
They're moving up 2 places from 6th to 4th as it stands. Live on Talksport, we've nearly reached the hour mark. Here come Chelsea with the number 8, Enzo Fernandez. Angled ball threaded left. Noni Madueke taking on Patterson. Goes on the outside again. Thinks about the left-footed delivery, and he's holding on to the ball. Rolls it back to Enzo Fernandez in the shadow of the West Stand. Now Cucurella. Back to Colwill. Colwill on the halfway line. Jinks away from Beto, who's not had many touches. Colwill races past Beto, and then he's only blocked off by the slide tackle of Idrissa Gueye. Not got a lot in terms of options to bring on for Beto, David Moyes. Let's get the team news ahead of our 3 o'clock commentary in the Premier League over on Talksport 2. Brighton against West Ham. Here's Alex Crook.
And after turning on his own teammates last weekend, Nicholas Füllkrug finds himself only on the bench for West Ham this afternoon. They make a trio of changes. Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos and Souček are the players who come in. 3 changes for Brighton as well, 2 enforced. João Pedro suspended, Van Hecke injured, March, Adingra and Ayari are those recalled.
Chelsea unable to make any breakthrough with Cole Palmer racing down the middle, but they still have that 1-0 lead as the ball is fed wide to Pedro Neto on the near side of the field, and he's darted infield away from Mikalenko. Clever flick by Madueke towards Jackson, who wasn't quite on the same wavelength, and it's hammered away and upfield by Branthwaite. Chelsea will really settle down if they can get the second goal. Lavia just in front of the centre circle, and of course Brighton against West Ham on Talksport 2. Not the only 3 o'clock kickoff in the Premier League. Let's go to St James's Park for team news. Another big game in the race for Europe. Graham Courtney's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with Newcastle. Eddie Howe, single change from the Villa 4-1 debacle. Joelinton out. Joe Willock is the player that would come in. As for Ipswich, Kieran McKenna, 3 changes from the Ipswich 4-0 defeat at home to Arsenal. Leif Davis sent off in that game. Hurst and Cayusta also out. Purchase, Wolfenden and Delap come in. Got to go for a home win here. It is Newcastle against Ipswich.
Remember, Newcastle have dropped down to 6th in the Premier League as it stands. Chelsea coming forward with Enzo Fernandez. Down the left to Madueke. Cross from the dead ball line. That's hit Patterson. It'll be a Chelsea corner. They are pushing for the second now, Stuart Pearce. And Everton are going to make 3 changes.
Yeah, as I say, you know, Everton need a bit more creativity. Down in front of me, Dwight McNeil, he certainly offers Everton that example. And as it stands at the moment, best opportunities for Chelsea come from probably mistakes from Everton.
McNeil, Chamiti and Young stripped and ready to come on for Everton, but they've got to defend a corner first of all. In by Enzo Fernandez, headed away by Branthwaite, high up into the air, flicked further clear by Alcaraz, nodded square by Lavia, and a little touch down the right hand side by Caicedo to just keep the Chelsea attack alive. Jackson's gone backwards though. Lavia for Chelsea all the way back to Sanchez. Let's get Premier League team news at St Mary's with Alfie Reynolds.
Southampton make one change. Ross Stewart comes in for his first Premier League start since the 5th of October. Onuachu drops out. For Fulham, 2 changes. Anthony Robinson misses a Premier League match for the first time this season. Lukic moves to the bench. It's Wilson and Willian that come in.
Woking 1, Eastleigh 2 is the latest score in the National League. Chelsea 1, Everton 0 in the Premier League. Good turn on the edge of the box by Enzo Fernandez, but he can't set up. Madueke with the pass. In the way to intercept was Harrison, who sends it back to the goalkeeper. Pickford clatters it long. Everton still waiting to make the triple substitution. They haven't been able to yet, as Colwell hammers it high downfield. It's nodded down by O'Brien to the feet of Gay. He's half tackled by Enzo Fernandez. Then Madueke steps in. It's a tense moment in the game, this for Chelsea. They have the win that they really feel they need coming into this game in the race for the Champions League, but it is a slender advantage with 28.5 minutes of normal time to go. And now Everton having a brief spell of possession. Let's get team news from the Premier League at Molineux with Ian Stringer.
Wolves manager Vitor Pereira's made a couple of changes to the side that beat Manchester United. Goalkeeper Sarr comes back. Doherty replaces Bueno. Leicester forced into one alteration to the defeat to Liverpool. Mavididi picked up a knock. Buonanotte comes in. That means that Cunha and Vardy both start for their respective sides after dominating the headlines this week regarding their futures. Wolves versus Leicester.
Here is Caicedo for Chelsea, who still lead Everton by a 0-0. And Celtic are cruising at Tannadice on their way to a 4th straight league title, and they've scored again, David Tanner.
Almost an hour played and it's Dundee United 0, Celtic 5, and a second goal from Adam Ida, set up by the captain Callum McGregor. Dundee United 0, the champions 5.
And Beto with a right-footed shot, and that's brilliantly turned away by Sanchez. Good stop by the Chelsea goalkeeper to keep Chelsea 1-0 in front. And that is a real reminder of the level of jeopardy in the game and just how important it is that Chelsea find themselves the cushion of a second goal. It was an angled right-footed shot, and Sanchez made an excellent save with his right hand.
Yeah, it was an outstanding stop, I've got to say. Beto, it bounced up for him. He hit it on the half volley, and it was destined for the same corner that Jackson scored in the first half. Goalkeeper made a wonderful save down to his right.
Well, here come the Everton changes. McNeil for Harrison and Ashley Young on in place of Nathan Patterson. Chamiti is going to replace Better. So the Everton changes may be taking place in predictable positions. Chamiti has never scored a goal for Everton, the Portuguese, since joining the club in the summer of 2023. And we're hearing, well, I can see that Chelsea have got Reece James stripped and ready to come on, all in royal blue. We're hearing he's going to replace Romeo Lavia, who has never completed 90 minutes for Chelsea. Would you believe it?
Yes, I would.
With the injury record that he's got, it's not that surprising. But it does go to show, doesn't it, Stuart, that opportunity for Beto, who's now gone off, that Everton still believe there's something in this game, even though they've got nothing to play for.
Yeah, and rightly so. Chelsea have not put a stamp down that says we're going to absolutely dominate this game, and they need to do that by getting the second goal and putting Everton's lights out. But they've not shown the consistency to do that. And Everton have probably come back into the game more so by default, you would suspect. But Moyes will be hoping that these 3 changes, with the experience that's come on in McNeil and Young especially, might create a touch more.
There's a massive goal in League 2. Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 1. Jayden Stockley has scored it, and so as it stands, Port Vale will be automatically promoted today, as will Doncaster Rovers, who lead Bradford, the 10 men of Bradford, by a 0-0. So Doncaster and Port Vale 1 and 2 in League 2, both heading up this lunchtime as it stands. And Bradford would be in a fight for the final automatic promotion place with Walsall, who've been on a dreadful run of late. Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 1. Doncaster and Port Vale are heading up. Here is Mikalenko, and on the near side, the left, for Everton, who've made 3 changes in a bid to try and force the issue and force an equaliser here. Bristol Rovers 0, Reading 1 is the latest score in League One. That takes Reading into the playoff positions, and Bristol Rovers very much in relegation trouble, still in the bottom 4. All the goals as they go in from 2:30 this afternoon on Game Day Live with Adrian Durham once we're done. The ball is out on the far side of the field. It's an Everton throw, and Chelsea are going to make a substitution here, and it's Romeo Lavia going off, and here comes Reece James. These minutes are being managed, it would seem. Lavia plays just over an hour, playing for the first time since the middle of March, and James is his replacement. Chelsea lead 1-0, live on Talksport. And a standing ovation for Lavia as he leaves the field. It's now Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 2. So Port Vale perhaps rubber stamping their promotion today. Doncaster and Port Vale both heading up out of League 2 and into League 1 as it stands. Harrogate 1, Notts County 1 is a half-time score. And there's a goal in the game at Brisbane Road in League 1. Sam Ellard.
Leyton Orient 1, Wickham 0. The home side take the lead. It's a wonderful ball in from the right-hand side. Ajayi with a brilliant delivery. And coming in at the back post is Randall Williams to head home from close range. With Reading taking the lead, Leyton Orient have to win to make sure they stay in the top 6. And they're doing that. Leyton Orient 1, Wickham 0.
Yes, Leyton Orient have now gone back above Reading in the race for the League One playoffs. Both teams winning, and that goal a big blow to Wickham's automatic promotion hopes. Chelsea, meanwhile, on the attack. Down the middle is Caicedo with a low shot that he drags wide. Just moments earlier, Idrissa Gueye with an effort straight at Rob Sanchez. It feels a little more end-to-end now, Stuart Pearce, this game, with a quarter of it left, but Chelsea still lead 1-0.
Yeah, it certainly does. Chelsea have shown the ability not to be able to put this game to bed, and Everton with a potential hurrah late on. A good drive there by Guy was saved well by the goalkeeper.
In the Championship, it's QPR 0, Burnley 4. Burnley heading top. Leeds don't play until Monday against Bristol City. Live on Talksport 2, Leeds would retake the lead with a victory in that game. Both teams, of course, already promoted. And still Luton 0, the 10 men of Coventry 0. Live right now on Talksport 2. Luton jumping out of the relegation zone, albeit only by a point. Coventry moving a point further clear in 6th position in the Championship. It is a day where so much is going on and every game matters, as ever, on the Talksport network. 22 minutes to go. Everton have the ball. They're 1-0 down. They have won a free kick out on the far side there right. Ashley Young has got it in his hands with the red boots on. And maybe Everton sensing that they can come away with something at a ground where they do not have a good record at all.
Yeah, they've not created a great deal, Everton, out the game, but you do get the impression, as you mentioned, Joe, that they will have a last hurrah in this game with nothing to lose and take the handbrake off slightly.
It would really hurt Chelsea's Champions League chances if Everton were to score here. Chelsea would dip down all the way back to 6th in the table, so outside the top 5. Remember, top 5 gets you qualification this season into the Champions League. Free kick pumped diagonally towards Chamiti with a header back across. The substitute could only find Enzo Fernandez, and he was in an offside position anyway. So it's a free kick to Chelsea. 1-0 they lead. The latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Right now, Chelsea to win at 8-1 on. The draw at 6-1. Everton to win at 50-1. That's all thanks to Betfair. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £10 on football hackers or bet builders this week. Opted in previous deposit required. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org. Sanchez slowing the game down here, the Chelsea goalkeeper. Maybe somewhat emblematic of a bit of anxiety in the stands. Colwell's got possession for Chelsea now. Back to Sanchez, the goalkeeper again, and they play it between them, the two of them. Cucurella in the left-back area forward towards Madueke, and a heavy ball back to Colwell, and Chelsea can come forward again perhaps. Chalobah, right of the three centre-halves when Chelsea don't have possession, and now Reece James in that deep line midfield role. Cole Palmer tucks it back infield from almost the right-back area to the feet of Cucurella. 1-0 Chelsea lead. I can see Philip Jorgensen, the Chelsea goalkeeper, warming up among others down below us. Maybe after that knock that Sanchez took in the first half, who knows? He's been warming up for a while, the goalkeeper. You don't often see that. Forward come Everton with Garner looking for Doucouré. Across came Cucurella with an important challenge from left back. Colwell hoists it downfield and away from danger for Chelsea. Jackson can't hold it up though. And Everton have won it back, and Everton are starting to see more and more of the ball. Idrissa Gueye drifting forward into a central area, whipping it wide to Mykolenko. Out on this near side touchline. Plays it back to Alcaraz. Everton now with O'Brien. Midway inside the Chelsea half. Chelsea getting a little deeper here. Still lead 1-0. Only 19 minutes to go. Chelsea up to 4th in the Premier League. Alcaraz with the touch. Chermiti from the angle with the shot. That is blocked. Good interception by Caicedo at the last moment to clear. Right at the last moment. Jackson down off the ball. No free kick given. Everton come forward again. Mykolenko from the left wing with a looping cross to the back post. Chermiti trying to reach it. Out comes Robert Sanchez to gather after the initial header by Dwight McNeil, and the immediate danger, Stuart Pearce, for Chelsea is gone.
Yeah, it has, but as you rightly said, Everton have got the ascendancy now, got their tails up. Chelsea have got to steady the ship, play through the press and see if they can create something.
Heavy touch by Young all the way back to Pickford. It wasn't a back pass, it was a deflection really, more than anything, an interception not aimed at the goalkeeper, despite the appeals of Chelsea fans behind the goal. And Everton are getting the ball forward quickly and effectively now. Alcaraz with a sweeping ball down the right, just too much on it for Ashley Young, who does applaud the intent and the effort, does the 39-year-old, but Alcaraz a little over-eager. That'll be a Chelsea throw in the left-back position.
Yeah, Chelsea at this moment just want to starve Everton a possession and slow the tempo down. Everton have almost got to lock on and go man for man and take the gamble. They don't concede another one.
Luton 0, Coventry 0, but now both sides are down to 10 men. Luton have had Liam Walsh sent off. Coventry continues over on Talksport 2. Chelsea breaking now with Jackson in the centre circle. Knocks it to the left-hand side, and Madueke. He can run at Ashley Young. One or two gaps at the back maybe to exploit, not beyond McNeil. Good work by McNeil. Madueke's gone down, but Everton have every right to break, and it's certainly not a head injury that. Alcaraz is in the centre circle. After McNeil looked to be caught, the referee plays the advantage. Everton attacking from right to left in the second half. In grey and yellow. Madueke still down, holding his knee it looks like. Slowly starting to get to his feet. In fact, he's still down, but here come Everton again on the counter with Young. Young with a great ball into the back post. Mykolenko mishits it at the far. He was running onto it. I think the angle would have been too tight for a shot, but either way, it was a promising position for a pullback, and Mykolenko really swung through it. And now David Moyes is saying, come back, get back, we need you on the defensive. Chelsea now come forward. It's really stretched the game all of a sudden. Chelsea 1, Everton 0. Chelsea heading for a big win in the race for Champions League football. Madueke, edge of the box, darts into the area with a low shot. What a stop by Pickford. Denies Madueke again with his left hand, plunging low to turn that behind for a corner.
Yeah, it's probably symptomatic of the modern game. Madueke stayed down an eternity, wanting the game to be stopped for him. All of a sudden, the game's not stopped. He gets up, and lo and behold, off he goes, like a scolded cat, and nearly scores a second.
Weaving.
It's some game now, Joe, I've got to say. It's going from end to end, and both teams gambling a fair bit. And that was a top quality save, I've got to say. Once again, that left hand of Pickford through two bodies. Just managed to get fingertips. Any time now with Chelsea score, this game's finished.
I'll remind you of all the latest scores around the grounds in just a moment. Corner to Chelsea, who are 1-0 up here. Pedro Neto in swinging into the near post, left-footed, loops up into the air, and then Cucurella with a glancing header from almost point-blank range. He just got underneath it. Pickford was able to come out and gather. Luton 0, Coventry 0. Live on Talksport 2 right now, both sides down to 10 men. Luton just outside the Championship relegation zone as it stands. QPR 0, Burnley 4. Burnley at the moment the Championship League leaders. Into League One in just a moment. Everton with Alcaraz finding Doucouré. Back to Ghana. And here they come now with Mikalenko in the left wing area. Deep inside the Chelsea half. Brantwaite on the overlap with a great low ball. Turned behind by Colwill. It's an Everton corner. Everton believe here they can get the goal that would knock Chelsea out of the top 5 back down to 6th.
Well, it certainly looks that way. This is an important 10-15 minutes for Chelsea. If they drop any points today, I think they can kiss goodbye to the Champions League places. I really do. Certainly playing the way they are, it's a long shot, that's for sure. But Everton are going to toss the ball in the box and they'll be competing for everything.
Jadon Sancho poised to come on for Chelsea shortly. Yusuf Chamiti will take the corner for Everton in front of the travelling fans. Right-footed underneath the crossbar. Too easy for Sanchez to pluck out of the air. Is he going to slow it down, the goalkeeper? No. Quick throw out to his left. Enzo Fernandez. Early ball with the outside of his foot. Poor one. Asking way too much of Madueke. And it's back to Pickford. Bristol Rovers 0, Reading 1. And Leyton Orient 1, Wycombe 0 in League One. So Orient clinging on to that final playoff spot in League One. Reading just behind them. Wycombe will stay 3rd. And of course Wrexham would have the opportunity potentially to be promoted today, but they play Charlton in 4th in that division. What a set of fixtures in League One today. And in League Two, I'll give you the latest scores in a moment. Everton down the right-hand side with Chamiti. Cucurella gets across in the left-back area. Everton not going away. Chelsea 1-0 up. McNeil's in swinging cross. Header away by Chalobah. We're in the 77th minute now. The ball is back with Cucurella again, and now Caicedo. Chelsea really desperate to settle the nerves as Enzo Fernandez is fouled by Idrissa Gueye. Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 2. Port Vale heading up, 2nd in League 2. Doncaster 1, Bradford 0. Bradford down to 10 men. Doncaster also heading up. Doncaster the league leaders. Dundee United 0, Celtic 5. Celtic are cruising to the Scottish Premiership title. Harrogate 1, Notts County 1, a half-time score in League 2. And you're up to date. Chelsea change. Madueke comes off. And here comes Sancho for the remaining minutes. Like-for-like change.
Well, I take it, Joe, that nonsense about when you get taken off. Madueke's been taken off from the far side of the pitch. I thought you had to go off at the nearest point. That goes out the window. It does make me laugh.
When you won that up? Can you believe it?
I can understand why he's done it, but come on now. If we're going to enforce these rules and
rule just go off, shouldn't he? Yeah.
Please enforce it for the whole season, not just a fad for a month.
Do you think he'd have walked across if they were 1-0 down? Probably not.
No. I'm surprised he didn't circumnavigate, but it's not down to him to turn around to do it. It's down to the referee to make sure that he does go off the direction he should be.
Stay with us. Once we're done here from Stamford Bridge, Game Day Live with Adrian Durham. We'll try and bring you reaction from both camps, Enzo Maresca and David Moyes. Brighton West Ham on Talksport 2 at 3. The first of the FA Cup semi-finals on Talksport at 5:15. Palace against Villa, the other tomorrow afternoon. Oh, here come Everton with Doucouré inside right. Good work by Colwill getting in front of him to clear. Live boxing tonight on Talksport at 8, remember. Eubank Jr. against Ben at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Cole Palmer for Chelsea. Inside right, 11 minutes plus added time to go. And Chelsea will move up into 4th position as it stands, but it's turning into a rather nervy end to the game.
Yeah, and it's that leadership within a young group, I think, Joe. It's evident there. We spoke with Jason Cundy pre-game, and that was evident, and they're passing the ball to each other and putting each other in more problems than they actually are sitting on the ball.
You know, the point you made about Madueke taking the long route off the pitch, I think David Moyes was making that exact point to the 4th official down below us. I wonder if David Moyes will feel disappointed if Everton don't get something from this. Alcaraz has got Mikalenko on the overlap. Good run in front of him. Early first-time cross. Diving header away by Chalobah to get it clear. Chelsea 1 goal to the good. Palmer's heavy pass out of play over halfway, but into the left-back position of Everton. And it's out for a throw, which the visitors take quickly.
Yeah, Chelsea, the only way Chelsea will calm this game down is score a goal, because at the moment their football isn't good enough, or their decision making isn't good enough to take the sting out of the game.
The ball is at the feet of Jared Branthwaite of Everton. And now he stands midway inside his own half of the field, into the last 10 minutes plus added time. We're here recently on Talksport for a crucial 1-0 victory for Chelsea at home to Spurs, and this has a similar feel to it, with Everton perhaps hoping for one more opportunity before the end, and Chelsea trying to kill it off, but they just can't quite do that at the moment, Stuart Pearce.
No, they can't. As I say, decision making's not been great, passing's not been great, and more importantly, and once again, another giveaway of possession.
McNeil, Everton's number 7, has brought it down out on the far side, the right. It's a sliding challenge from Cucurella. Ashley Young back to O'Brien, and Everton now come forward again with Garner, middle of his own half. Garner wide to the near side of Mikalenko, standing right in front of David Moyes, whose team have been very tough to beat since he rejoined the club. Only 2 defeats in their last 13 in the Premier League for Everton. Chamiti looked offside on the edge of the box. Across came Chalobah, and eventually the flag does go up. Still 1-0 Chelsea. But Everton look capable potentially of threatening. How maybe they miss a front man with genuine quality in situations like this, but we've said that about many a Premier League team over recent years.
Yeah, they just need that calming influence as well on the pitch, you know. What's the right thing to do at the right time? They've been a little bit bitty, Chelsea, today. I've got to say, they've not been clear-cut and fluent as I've seen them. But they're in the mix at the moment for Champions League. But I think they've got to do slightly better than that to get results in the remaining games.
Manchester City in third on 61 points. Chelsea a point behind them in fourth, having played the same number of games, 34. Forest and Newcastle have both played 33. Forest behind Chelsea on goal difference, Newcastle a point behind Chelsea, and you'd expect Newcastle to beat Ipswich this afternoon in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. And of course, all the goals as they go in with Adrian Durham and the team once we're done here at Stamford Bridge. Aston Villa back in 7th on 57. Forward by Chalobah, down the middle for Chelsea, cleared away by Branthwaite. Chelsea can't make it stick up front at the moment. With just over 7 minutes left now. Everton with Gay finding McNeil. What they haven't been able to do, Everton, this season is score many goals. Chamiti robbed of possession by Colwill. Enzo Fernandez forward to Jackson. Jackson now turns away from Garner, lays it left to Enzo Fernandez again. Back to Moises Caicedo in the centre circle, and a little 1-2 with Reece James. Chelsea feel maybe that they don't need to force the issue here.
No, they don't. By trying to force it and playing forward, they've been giving the ball away, Chelsea. But they need to play in an area that isn't costly when they do make a mistake with the pass.
Cucurella's angled ball wide left to Sancho. Not seen much of him so far. He's skipped beyond Ashley Young. Heading for the corner flag with McNeil in close attention. Back to Enzo Fernandez, and now Cucurella about 35 yards out. Everton have got everybody back behind the ball all of a sudden, so it'll be difficult for Chelsea to play through here. Chelsea 1, Everton 0. Forward by Chelsea to Caicedo. Little 1-2 square with James, and an impatience from the Chelsea fans. Caicedo looks towards the right-hand side, but Palmer's beaten to it by Mikalenko. Everton have got it back again. Idrissa Gueye to the centre circle of McNeil. Good tackle, block tackle by Cucurella. Now there's a gap for Chelsea. Neto to Palmer on the inside right corner of the penalty area. Shuffles infield onto his left. Finds Cucurella. 30 yards out with a low shot parried. Jackson there to tap it in, but the flag is up. He looked in an offside position after Pickford spilled the initial shot. Jackson there to tuck it home, but it's going to be ruled out. Meanwhile, penalty in League 2 at Doncaster. Dave Rowe.
Penalty to Bradford with 5 minutes to go. Doncaster 1, Bradford 0. Tyreek Wright about to step up after Lapsley was brought down by Maxwell. Brilliant save! Fantastic save there by Sharman Lowe for Doncaster, and Doncaster may still be going up. Doncaster 1, Bradford 0.
Incredible drama from the EFL live on Talksport. So Doncaster still lead by a goal to nil, and as Dave said, they're still heading up. Likewise Port Vale, who lead 2-0 at Wimbledon. That's the top two in League Two going up this lunchtime as it stands. And you'll get more of that drama, all the goals or indeed penalty saves as they happen on Talksport from 2:30 once we're done here. Would you believe it? Bradford City, who lost a lead very late on at Chesterfield last weekend, I think it was, and now the 10 men have missed a penalty in that crunch game at Doncaster. Still Bristol Rovers 0, Reading 1, Leyton Orient 1, Wycombe 0 in League One. As Reece James has to retreat on the cover for Chelsea to get in front of Mikalenko. He shepherded it behind for a goal kick. Chelsea 1, Everton 0 here. Luton 0, Coventry 0 in the Championship, live on Talksport 2. Both sides down to 10. QPR 0, Burnley 4 is the latest score. And Celtic 5-0 up at Dundee United as they cruise to another title. Hardly cruising here for Chelsea. There was a very brief VAR check after that Jackson goal was ruled out, but as expected, it is still only 1-0. And Chelsea will have to go again. Risky back pass from Enzo Fernandez, cleared away by Robert Sanchez, the goalkeeper, first time. High up to halfway. Everton have won it back on that halfway line again with Idrissa Gueye. Drifts forward of the centre circle. And out to the right-hand side is Ashley Young. Only 3.5 minutes plus added time to go. And Chelsea, do they sit and hold what they have now, Stu?
Well, they can't get a rhythm in their football at the moment. They've not been clean enough or clever enough with their passing to put Everton's lights out. So they've just got to defend for their lives, and they're going to have to do it once again here.
Alcaraz is in behind down the left. He clips in the cross. McNeil! Saved by Sanchez. Brilliant reaction. Stop from the goalkeeper to deny Dwight McNeil an equaliser. It's a corner. And it's taken quickly. There are two balls on the pitch and the referee stopped it. He's going to ask Everton to take it again. That is twice in the second half that Robert Sanchez has made crucial saves. That one to deny McNeil was even more important than the first to deny Beto.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chelsea are their own architects, really, of a potential downfall. If they get over the line, it's more luck than judgment at this moment in time. Everton have been forced onto the front foot by virtue of the clock, I think, and they're creating the odd skirmish.
Corner drifted in by Chamiti into the 6-yard box, well handled by Sanchez, who plunges straight down on the ball. He's had a lot of criticism, the Chelsea goalkeeper, but he's made two vital saves in this second half to keep Chelsea 1-0 in front and keep them in fourth.
Yeah, I think both goalkeepers have made some good saves within this game. And Everton, that's the second time they've chipped the ball into Sanchez's hands.
Having at 1, Notts County 2. Notts County maybe with a slender outside chance of automatic promotion in that division if they can take it to the final day. They lead 2-1 at Harrogate in that late kick-off in League 2. Here is O'Brien for Everton. Midway inside his own half of the field. O'Brien to McNeil on the halfway line, cuts it back in field to Chamiti. We're into the last 90 seconds plus added time, and Chamiti's been fouled as Everton seek an equaliser. Again, more possession and territory for them in the game now. It's going to be a nervy last 90 seconds plus added time for Chelsea, who have seen Cole Palmer now sitting down in the centre circle. Not sure what the problem is. Tyrick George, the youngster, is stripped and ready to come on, having scored his first Premier League goal in that potentially equally valuable victory at Fulham last weekend.
Yeah,
Palmer on his feet.
They've had a couple of games, Joe, of recent weeks by the looks of it with Chelsea. If they get if they get over the line today and last week, it's been scrappy, but well, they've got there potentially.
Well, they're clinging on a little here, Chelsea, into the last 45 seconds of normal time at the end of the game. They're holding a very high defensive line for this free kick, which is only about 10 yards into the Chelsea half. Dwight McNeil is standing over it, and 3 Everton players having to come back from offside positions. High ball from McNeil to the back post is headed away by Pedro Neto, and then he gets in front of Mikalenko a second time, but it is an Everton throw. level with the edge of the 6-yard box. The crucial moments of all the big games, live on Talksport. Last 15 seconds of normal time to go. Chelsea 1, Everton 0 in a must-win game for Chelsea. In the race for Champions League football, they're in 4th at the moment. Long throw, Mykolenko into the penalty area, headed away at the near post. It's come back out to Mykolenko with a right-footed cross. Sanchez there to come and claim again. Chelsea are going to make a double change. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall's going to come on. 4 added minutes at the end of the game. And Chelsea wait to make the changes. There is another goal in the game at Doncaster in League 2. Dave Rowe.
Doncaster 2, Bradford 0. 39-year-old Billy Sharp has got the goal that surely sends Doncaster back into League 1. Flicked on by his fellow sub Ethan Ennis, and Sharp took it superbly on the right foot, beat the keeper, win stoppage time. Doncaster 2, Bradford 0.
What a story that is for Billy Sharp and for Doncaster. Heading up as are Port Vale, who still lead 2-0 at Wimbledon. Chelsea changes. Dewsbury Hall replaces Palmer, and Tyreek George. Is it going to be a straight swap for Jackson? Yes, it is. No great surprises there. And a big cheer for the young man who's really endeared himself to Chelsea fans in the last couple of weeks. First senior goal in Europe and first Premier League goal last weekend. We are over a minute through the 4 added at the end of the game. Chelsea 1, Everton 0, and haven't Everton made life difficult for Chelsea today? Burnley have got a 5th away at QPR in the Championship. Burnley top of the Championship table. Still Luton 0, Coventry 0 on Talksport 2 in the closing stages there. As Chelsea with Sancho winning it back midway inside his own half of the field. And now Enzo Fernandez up to halfway. Sliding intervention from Mykolenko. Pedro Neto, though, can't get it back for Chelsea. Just over 2 minutes of added time to go. Alcaraz racing down the middle. He's knocked it left to Decore. Decore tries to scamper in field onto his right. Reverse ball into the area. Too close to the goalkeeper. And Everton just lack that quality, ultimately. And it looks as though Chelsea are going to cling on for 3 very important points.
Yeah, as I say, good opportunity there for Everton. And the final pass was so over it by Decore there. Sanchez was very grateful to see it drift into his hands. And I've got to say, Shemiti coming on for Beto has not improved Everton in 1 iota.
It certainly hasn't. Bristol Rovers 0, Reading 2 in League 1. Bristol Rovers mired in relegation trouble. Reading still just outside the playoffs on goal difference behind Leyton Orient, who is still 1-0 up on Wickham. Early ball over the top by Dewsbury Hall. That's going to elude Sancho. Ashley Young shepherds it out of play, getting the boos from the Chelsea fans. Burnley have beaten QPR by 5-0 to go top of the Championship. And I'm sure Resh will confirm all the full-time scores in just a moment. The headlines in League 2 are that both Port Vale and Doncaster are both going up. Promotion this lunchtime awaits for those two. 1 minute left here of added time. Chelsea 1, Everton 0. Chelsea into 4th. But they've given it away yet again, albeit the offside flag is up against Chermiti. And maybe that'll be enough for Chelsea. Another goal at Doncaster, Dave Rowe.
Well, it's Doncaster 2, Bradford 1 in stoppage time. Ronnie Critchlow has got it for Bradford to give them some hope here with 3 to go, as Doncaster couldn't defend the set piece. Critchlow with the goal. Doncaster 2, Bradford 1.
So they still need to hang on for victory there, Doncaster Rovers, to be sure of promotion. Right at the very end. It's not over yet. Forward by Sanchez for Chelsea. It's nearly over here at Stamford Bridge. 1-0, Chelsea lead, and the ball is where Chelsea would want it. It's deep inside the Everton half. Everton have to go all the way back to Pickford from the throw. Pickford with a simple ball to Jake O'Brien. Now Ashley Young in the right back position. We've had the 4 added minutes. Young hammers it long towards Chermiti. Colwell there to clear away for Chelsea. The fans are baying for the full-time whistle, but it won't come just yet. Back it goes to Ashley Young. Another long, high diagonal ball pumped to the edge of the penalty area. Headed away by Reece James, who was clattered into by Branthwaite. Free kick to Chelsea, and he gets a big pat on the back from a couple of his teammates there.
Yeah, good header there. As I say, big diagonal ball. But both teams, I've got to say, Joe, in these latter stages of the game, both teams are demonstrating. Chelsea that they make so many poor decisions giving the ball away, and they're fanning the flames. They really are of Everton, and Everton themselves have not been very clinical in regard to what they're trying to achieve.
And that is the full-time whistle. A huge victory for Chelsea in their quest for Champions League football. The pressure on Enzo Maresca and his players coming into today, and Chelsea have managed to grind out a highly important 3 points. It takes them up to 4th in the Premier League and gives them real hope of dining at Europe's top table next season. Nicholas Jackson with the only goal in the first half. It was a nervy second period. Robert Sanchez had to make crucial saves, first from Beto and then in particular to deny Dwight McNeil. David Moyes' Everton really pushed for an equaliser in the latter stages, but Chelsea so mindful of the need for a victory today given the fixtures that they have coming up between now and the end of the season, and they have got it. Chelsea move up into 4th. It has finished Chelsea 1, Everton 0.
Joe Shannon, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, players out on the pitch. Everton players still out on the pitch as well, I'm sure, heading over to thank their away supporters. But this is big for Chelsea. This is big. Even David Moyes, actually, he went over to the away fans and he is now heading back into the tunnel. There's I've got to point it out, there's a funny atmosphere in the stadium today, a real nervousness around the ground, particularly in that second half as well. It's not of fans who are fervently backing their team. You just feel that they always feel that there's a mistake in this side and something could happen. Even at full time, you're getting the claps, you're not getting the loud cheers, even though this is one crucial step forward in the quest, as you say, for the Champions League football. But again, there is so much work still to do, but today, job done. A really, really important victory against a dogged Everton side, and it is Chelsea who take those 3 points, move up into 4th. And I tell you what, Stuart Pearce, Robert Sanchez had a real hand to play, particularly in that second half, and especially with Dwight McNeil very late on, who came on as a sub, but of course Beto as well earlier on. He did make some really important saves. For all the criticisms he's received, it was key today.
Yeah, it's probably his decision making a little bit more, coming from crosses and dropping and flapping on occasion, that highlights his deficiencies, but his actual shot stopping has been pretty good, and today was point in case, made some very good saves low down.
Yeah, he really did. Just a 9th clean sheet of the season. Do you think Maresca is finally maybe starting to find a bit of a balance between attack and defence, or was it a bit of pot luck that they managed to weather the storm from Everton?
I'm not been convinced by that performance. I think they, played against a team that ended up contributing to the goal that they conceded. They couldn't go on, they couldn't grab the game by the scruff of the neck by getting the second goal, or playing in a manner that actually starved Everton of the ball. And if I'm being honest with you, I think the way Chelsea played late on in the game encouraged Everton to get on the front foot and put them under pressure.
You look at the fixtures that Chelsea have going forward. They've got Liverpool at home next, Newcastle away, Manchester United at home, Nottingham Forest, of course, on the last game of the season. Even, Liverpool have a chance to wrap up the title tomorrow at Anfield. They can't get away with playing like that against a Liverpool side who've just won the Premier League title, can they?
I'm not sure they can get away with playing like that against any of the 4 that you just mentioned there. Not to galvanise at least 3 victories, maybe 4 victories, what it might take to get into a Champions League place. They're relying on other teams falling foul.
Yeah. Everton, though, you'd have to say that, okay, they didn't get anything from this game, but given where they started, where they were, what was it, a point off the relegation when David Moyes took over, they're now comfortably in 13th, and they remain there after this defeat. I suppose they can leave with their heads held high for the performance they put on. What should they be aiming for come the end of the season? Is it just to maintain and just to be able to not lose too much momentum, put in the performances they need to show ahead of what is a big transition period coming up?
Resh, they want to finish on a high at the end of this season, no doubt. Performances like this all just emphasise today that there's a lot of work to be done at Everton Football Club. Don't get, deluded by sort of some good results since he's picked the team up. They've got over the line, but they've not really dominated any of the games. they've got to graft, they've got to bring players to the football club and attract some better players that give them more options and a better level and a more consistent level of performance, you know what I mean? So, you know, Dave's not daft enough. He realises, you know, there's tough times ahead for Everton.
Yeah, indeed. Tough times ahead. This one might be a tough one to swallow, but they did put in a good performance. But it is Chelsea that takes all 3 points. We're going to pick our man of the match now with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Making a big move or planning a clear out with vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Stuart Pearce, who are you going to go for your man of the match from this game?
Well, probably it's going to be a Chelsea player, I've got to say, and there's two that caught my eye. I thought Casado done quite well, but my man of the match today is Neto. I think he was consistently a thorn in the side of Everton and made the right options the majority of the time on the ball.
Okay, yeah, and he's been pretty consistent over a number of games, hasn't he? Pedro Neto then is the man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.